said that you always look like you're wearing mascara.
You know why? It's because I got long eyelashes. It's, I've gotten that since I was like 5 years old.
Well, and by somebody, I mean I started that rumor.
Uh,
By somebody, I mean me. I didn't want it to get back to you and you not know that it was me who put that evil on you, dude.
Well, look, you're gonna have to take it up with the long list of crushes that girls had on me when I was in middle school and high school and beyond that. Okay, up until I met my wife. You're gonna have to take it up with all of them and see
Were
what
they
they
all
think about
were they
my
lesbians?
mascara.
Were they
What's that?
lesbians? Were they lesbians?
They're trans now.
Kind of funny. I think TJump is live on his end, so
All right, I am back.
okay.
I don't need these. What am I doing?
Habit. Kay Fellows has your chair, dude. She stole your idea.
All right, I should be good now.
Okay.
Alrighty then, I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, we're going. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Crucible. Tonight we've got Zen Shapiro up against TJump. We had to move the broadcast back an hour. We had a couple little things that came up, mostly that the wife is going to be on Tucker Carlson today, so we had to focus on just a couple other things. But the debate is on. I'll be right back with the debaters. Before I want to say to like, subscribe, all of that. Since TJump is a regular on Modern Day Debate, I'm going to shout that channel out too, and I'll try to do my best James impression when we get back when I introduce the two debaters. So hang tight. We'll be right back. Hello, and I'm James from Modern Day Debate. I want to make sure that you all like, subscribe, share. My voice is a mixture between Captain Kirk and some other doofus. I don't know. First, let's go to TJump. TJump, how you doing tonight? Shout your channel out to everyone where they can find you.
I'm TJump. I run a YouTube channel, youtube.com/TJump. I sell bathtubs.
You sell bathtubs.
Full-time YouTube occupation. I just record myself selling bathtubs on YouTube.
Nice. And Zen Shapiro, I know that you don't sell bathtubs, but why don't you shout yourself out anywhere where everybody can find you?
You don't know that. You don't know that. But I'm Zen Shapiro. I'm a paleoconservative. You can find me on Twitter and YouTube. I have my own channel where I do exclusive debates that you won't find anywhere else. I am the in-house right-wing debater on the Crucible. I debate right-wing ideas on behalf of the Crucible. And I'm ready to go. I'm very interested in this. Thanks for having us on.
Great. Tonight's topic is going to be on abortion. Both contestants, I guess you would call them, debate bros, are going to have 7-minute intros for their opening statement. We're going to get right into the debate after that. It's going to last somewhere between an hour and a half. We'll take super chats the entire time, of course, and then you'll have 7-minute closing statements. We'll get to the audience questions. That sound good to both of you guys?
Yep.
Okay. As you're the challengers, then I'm going to allow you to open.
Okay, yeah, I'm pro-life. I oppose all abortions. The scientific fact of the matter is that human life begins at conception, and I can defend this if we need to. It follows from that abortion is, by definition, killing an innocent human life. That's murder. That's wrong. I oppose that. That's why I oppose abortions. I want to know what the reason is, what the justification is that TJump will put forth for why we should have abortions, why we should be able to kill human lives. And I want to determine if there is a consistent, non-arbitrary principle that delineates a human in the womb versus a human outside of the womb. And I'm interested to see where it goes. But that's my opening statement.
Okay, TJump, you got 7 minutes.
Sure. Let's see. Abortion is self-defense. Self-defense, you have a legal right to use lethal force in the case of self-defense if deadly force may only be used in self-defense if the defendant reasonably believes he or she is threatened by death or great personal injury. State v. Walden 131. Personal injury is a legal term that defines cases in which a person is harmed by another person or entity. A defendant in a personal injury case is not accused of malice. That means intent doesn't matter. Bodily harm means physical pain or injury, illness, or impairment of physical condition. Great bodily harm means injury that creates high probability of death or causes serious permanent disfigurement or which causes permanent or protracted loss of impairment of the function of the bodily member or organ. Serious bodily harm. Examples: scarring, tissue buildup, loss of an arm, leg, foot, toe, eye, ear, loss of motor function, contortions due to nerve or muscular skeletal damage. So pregnancy definitively qualifies as great bodily injury, which then legally justifies the use of lethal force. Don't take my word for it. We can literally just look at the court cases. A bunch of legal terms for the list of the court case. Serious personal injury means great bodily harm, disfigurement, extreme mental anguish, or mental trauma. Pregnancy is listed as one of these: disease, loss of impairment, or sexual reproductive organs. This is the Nebraska, state, Minnesota criminal code, statute, big numbers. Injury is defined, great personal injury is defined as bodily harm or severe mental anguish or pregnancy. Illinois, compiled statutes, chapter 720, legal stuff, subdivision, blah, 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 defines great bodily harm to mean physical harm that includes, but is not limited to, sexually transmitted disease, pregnancy, or impotence. New Mexico, same thing. And I'm going to go down the list, multiple states. There are numerous court cases that elucidate this. Pregnancy is, in fact, definitively legally defined as great bodily harm. So it is self-defense to abort the baby because it is damaging to your body and it doesn't matter their intent. As I stated before, the criterion for personal harm has absolutely nothing to do with malice, has no intent involved. And we can just go down and just read the statutes and court cases of all of the judges, which I have listed here for no particular reason. Therefore, pregnancy is great bodily harm and justifies the use of legal force. Problem solved. Conclusion. Applause. I win the debate.
Okay. Well, I'm going to open up the floor, and we're going to start with you, Zen, with your rebuttal.
You're not serious. Okay. So pregnancy is, you're saying that when a woman is pregnant, the baby is inflicting harm upon her, and she could have an abortion at any point for any reason on the grounds of self-defense, correct?
No, I didn't say
Okay.
at any point or at any reason.
Okay, where's the cutoff point?
Where's the cutoff point? Leave it
Yep.
up to doctors.
No, I want to know what your
I leave it up to
position
doctors.
is.
The doctors are the experts in the field. Leave it up to doctors.
Okay, so you're just going to appeal to authority and then not defend a position?
No, I'm going to let the experts in the field determine what the cutoff point is because that's the only intellectual thing to do.
Okay, then what's their cutoff point?
I don't know. What difference does it make? It doesn't change my argument at all.
No, you're strictly appealing to the authority, but then not giving the grounds that the authority is arguing.
No, because my argument wasn't.
Hang on, real quick. You can appeal to an authority as long as you are versed on what the authority is arguing. Like I could say I appeal to the biology.
That's not how it works. You're an idiot.
That is how it works.
So I can appeal to authority. Wait. So I can appeal to authority. Say the quantum physicists know quantum physics. I don't need to know anything about what the quantum physicists say. Like no, you don't need to know that.
Then you can't argue on the grounds of quantum physics because you don't know anything about quantum physics.
Stop. None of that had to do with anything I presented in my intro. So you're going off on some irrelevant side tangent that I don't.
You brought it up. You brought up quantum physics.
No. The part about what is the cutoff point? That's something you brought up that I didn't say anything about my intro in.
Yeah, well, I want to know your principle.
Wait. My argument was pregnancy qualifies as great bodily harm by the legal definition. Great bodily harm justifies the use of legal force in self-defense, which I think is not just legal, but it's morally correct. I think this is the morally correct thing to do. If you are in risk of great bodily harm, you are morally justified to use lethal force. Therefore, women are justified in using lethal force to protect themselves from pregnancy.
Okay, but that's what I understand that principle, and I'm just asking, does that principle apply throughout the entire term of pregnancy? And if not, where's the cutoff point and why? You can't just appeal to authority and be like, I don't know. That's not an argument.
I didn't say it was an argument. I just said you're an idiot. So it doesn't matter at what point the cutoff is. So like I can say that at some point your body has already experienced the great bodily harm. Like if you have a day left or whatever, at which point you're no longer at risk of great bodily harm because you've already experienced the great bodily harm. So yes, the cutoff point is once you've actually experienced all of the great bodily harm, then there's no longer a risk of great bodily harm, whatever the medical definition of that is.
Okay, but okay. How do you explain this just simply like pregnancy? If you say pregnancy is bodily harm, period, and it applies all the way to term, I would just accept that and we would debate that. But when you say that it only applies up to a certain point in the pregnancy and then it no longer applies after that point or whatever, then you have to provide the delineation. Why does it only apply after this point and why does it not apply after? What's the difference?
This is super simple. Like if your body has gone through all of the pain and suffering already, then there's no risk of future pain and suffering. So the more you go through, there's a less risk.
Just to respond to that, I would imagine anybody with half a brain would agree that the most painful, most suffering point of a pregnancy is delivery. That's the most pain that the woman experiences the whole time, with exceptions. But for the most part, when it's traveling through after dilation, that's the most painful point of the pregnancy. So wouldn't it then follow that at any point of the pregnancy, she hasn't gone through the pain and suffering, therefore it would be justified to have an abortion at any point for any reason on the grounds of self-defense?
No, because it's about protracted, as I gave you the definition of great bodily harm, it's protracted amounts of suffering and permanent damage. So if you've already gone through the permanent damage, protracted, it means over a long period of time. So okay, but nothing you brought up even addresses my claim. So are you granting that I'm right and that this does qualify?
No, I'm not granting that you're right. I'm trying to understand your position.
Well, I told you my position. My position doesn't matter what the cutoff point is. My position is pregnancy qualifies as great bodily harm. So unless you're claiming that no point of it does, then I win the debate.
Okay, so if a woman gets an abortion at 8 months, is that okay?
It doesn't make a difference to my argument. Like the cutoff point is up to the doctors. It doesn't change my argument. So
you're not being clear. You're not being clear with what is it simply the.
I don't need to. Dumbass.
This is why I'm asking the question.
Stop. This is why I'm asking the question. You're not addressing my point. My point is.
Okay, let me try to level with you.
Hang on. Start with TJump. We'll move back over. Go ahead.
My point is pregnancy qualifies as great bodily harm. At what point it doesn't makes no difference. Zero difference, because you claim that no pregnancy qualifies as qualifying of abortion because you said life starts or at conception or something like those lines. So if at any point at all that it qualifies as great bodily harm, then I win the debate. I have demonstrated abortions are justified. Now I don't need to give you a cutoff.
Because
wait, I'm not done yet. So if I demonstrate at any point it qualifies as great bodily harm, I win the debate because I've demonstrated that abortions are justified. I don't need to give you a cutoff point. I don't. I'm not done. I'm not done yet. Not done yet.
When is he?
Hold
When
on.
is
Wait,
just gonna
wait,
keep
wait,
talking?
not
Well,
done
let him
yet.
finish then. That's
Not done
okay.
yet.
Let him finish.
So again, let's say it again. If at any point pregnancy qualifies as great bodily harm, then abortion at whatever point that is justified. Use of lethal self-defense is justified, and I've won the debate. I don't need to give you a cutoff point. That's not a point of my argument.
So okay, you've said the same thing 4 times now. Is it the case that simply the classification of being pregnant is bodily harm, and therefore abortions at any point are justified? Because
I never said that in my argument.
That's what you're saying. You said
no. I never said that in my argument.
I'm repeating you. Hang on. No, you got to talk for a while. I'm repeating you when I say
no, you're not.
that if I can demonstrate that being pregnant is classified as bodily harm, then abortion is justified.
At any point.
So it would follow that you would have to argue that simply the criteria of being pregnant is bodily harm, and the woman has grounds for self-defense if she kills her child. That's what you would have to argue.
At some point in the pregnancy, not at any point in the pregnancy.
These faces he's making.
Not like at. I don't have to give a cutoff point. I have to say at some point, any range of the time of being pregnant regularly with no complications does qualify as great bodily harm, which it does, as I demonstrated from all legal cases. But yes, just the act of being pregnant and with no complications, just being pregnant itself does qualify as great bodily harm.
Okay, so therefore, we can talk about that. I just want to make sure you're consistent. So if I am to grant that pregnancy qualifies as great bodily harm, then it would follow that abortions at any point are justified. At any point.
No, that does not follow. That's literally a stupid thing to say.
That does follow.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
If simply being pregnant is classified as bodily harm, and you can act
repeating yourself isn't going to make it less wrong.
Bodily harm is if bodily harm, if you can justify abortion due to bodily harm, and bodily harm is present as long as you are pregnant, then it would follow that abortion is justified at any point.
No, it logically doesn't. So
it logically does.
No, you're an idiot. So as I said before, if you go through like eight months, almost 9 months of pregnancy, you've already gone through the bodily harm. So the more suffering you go through, the less suffering remains. And so at some point, the amount of suffering remaining does not justify killing the child. The 9 months of suffering does.
How are you quantifying suffering?
What?
How are you quantifying suffering here?
How am I? What a stupid question. The representation of the person. They can say, "I feel pain." That's how you quantify suffering.
Suffering remains. So how are you quantifying suffering?
Person says this hurts. That's how you quantify. Like, what? You don't need to. I don't understand the question. You don't need to quantify suffering. Doctors do this, but you don't need to.
You do actually, because you're saying that early on in the pregnancy, there's not as much, or there's more suffering to be had, and as the pregnancy goes on, more suffering has already occurred, and less suffering is left to be had. So, and I don't even know how that follows.
Those are just
position. That's what you said.
Are you just ignorant of how pregnancy works? So suffering caused by pregnancy is mood swings, pain, back pain, emotional things, weight gain, stretching, moving of your organs. All kinds of stuff happens in pregnancy. Like, this is not up for debate. Like, I literally just read the statute that said it is great bodily harm. So, I mean, if you don't know what pregnancy is, then that's your problem.
Just a quick question here.
Sure.
If I like, I'm happy to just grant you these things. I just want to see if you're consistent. Like, if bodily harm, you mentioned things like scarring and tissue buildup. So, like in the case of breastfeeding, a woman would have scarring and tissue buildup when her child is breastfeeding, when it's outside of the womb. So could she interpret that as self-defense and then kill her child?
No.
Oh, why not? It's scarring
because it's not prolonged suffering. Like, you can stop it.
What is prolonged suffering? That's subjective. That's arbitrary.
No, it's not. I literally just read the legal definition. It's not subjective. I don't.
What do you mean by prolonged suffering?
Go read the legal definition. I don't need to give you.
No, why don't you tell me? You can't just keep doing this.
I read the legal definition.
This is not. You're not debating. You're not debating right now. What is prolonged suffering?
No, I don't need to give you a definition there. This is not like
you do actually. In order to be good faith here and actually argue on the grounds of what of the position you're holding, you need to define your terms. That
I can just give you the legal consensus on the topic.
Hang on, guys. We got to back this up. I think it's interesting. I've never heard this before, right? Never heard this defense of abortion before. So I'm literally taking notes here as I'm going, but I want to make sure I have this position down. Essentially, you're making an appeal of self-defense for abortion. Yeah, TJump?
Yep.
And your problem with this is that I'm talking to Zen now. Your issue with this is that he's not being clear on when this is cut off exactly, and you think he needs to justify why, uh, why there's no cutoff point, right?
I didn't
Is
say
that
that.
right?
Or no, well, he's asking me the question. I'm asking, what is it? Is it the question I've been trying to get the answer to? Is it precisely that she's pregnant, or is there something within the construct of being pregnant that we are interpreting as self-defense, such as, like, I don't know, I don't know what you would be appealing to there, or is it simply just being pregnant? So I don't know. I don't even know how to interpret this. This is very strange. But yeah, I'm saying, if it's simply that being pregnant is grounds for self-defense, then that would follow that abortion is justified always as long as you're pregnant. I mean,
Well, no, it's not simply being pregnant, because if pregnancy didn't cause any physical harm, then there would be no prolonged suffering. So it's the physical harm to the body caused by pregnancy. And so if none of that's going to happen, then just being pregnant wouldn't justify an abortion.
Got it. So is there ever a point during a pregnancy where the harm that you're asserting here is not being imposed?
The amount to qualify as great bodily harm has a limit, which is determined by the experts. And so, yes, it has a limit.
What is the limit?
Ask the experts. Like, I don't need to answer that question. You're not refuting my point.
You do.
No, I don't. No. Let me finish. Let me finish. Stop interrupting. Let me finish.
What do they say?
Stop interrupting. Stop interrupting. Let me finish. I don't need to give you the precise definition. All I need to show is that it qualifies at any point. If I show it qualifies at any point, then I win the argument. You're not making a criticism. You're not. Stop interrupting. Stop interrupting. Stop interrupting. I don't need to give you a definition. You need to refute my position. You need to say, no, it is not.
I don't need to know your position because you're not giving it.
Stop interrupting. Stop interrupting, kid. Stop. So you need to show, kid.
Call me a kid. I look older than you. I look more mature than you.
Kid, stop. So you need to actually refute my point.
Let him finish up.
So you need to either refute my point or object to it, saying give a definition. I don't need to give a definition. I can give you the legal cases. Stop interrupting, kid. Stop interrupting. I can give you the legal cases where they give you the definitions, and you can look them up for yourselves. But I don't need to care. I don't need to give you specifics. I just need to say, stop interrupting, kid. Holy shit.
Yeah, let him finish. Just let him finish.
So,
we'll give you the floor, I promise.
All I need to show is at any point this is true. My statement that pregnancy qualifies as great bodily harm, if this point is at any point correct, I win the debate. I don't need to give you precise definitions. I just say at any point. You're still interrupting. Kid,
let him finish.
You're still interrupting.
He keeps saying the same thing.
I know, but
could you mute him so I can finish, and then we can move on?
I'll mute myself.
Yeah, just chill out for a second. Let him finish.
So, as I said, my opening point was pregnancy qualifies as self-defense because it qualifies as great bodily harm. Which premise of that do you reject? Asking me to give you a definition doesn't help here for what specifically you want. All I can say is the sufficient amount of pain of the process of pregnancy qualifies as great bodily harm, and the courts say it's something like the first or second trimester, depending on states. I don't know. Different states say different things, but it's definitely, they do say that pregnancy does qualify as great bodily harm. So unless you reject that premise, asking for a definition doesn't do anything. It just means I win the debate. So you have to reject one of the premises of my argument, not just ask for further specific definitions.
Okay, Zen, you can respond. Man. The floor is yours.
There's no way for me to actually attack your position if you're not willing to disclose what you are saying. When you assert a position and there's a word that you use or a phrase that you use in that position, like bodily harm or self-defense or whatever, and your opponent says, what do you mean by that? You can't just say, oh, it's up to the experts. At that point, you have to say, it's up to the experts, and this is what they say. And that's what I'm asking you. What is the expert definition of what bodily harm is and how that applies in the case of pregnancy?
Which premise in my argument does that refute?
I'm just trying to establish what your argument is.
It doesn't refute anything. I'll give it again.
Hang on, real quick. I'm not refuting your argument with that question. I'm trying to determine what your argument is.
Okay, so
you're not giving it.
I'll give it again. My argument is that pregnancy qualifies as use of lethal force for self-defense because it qualifies as the legal definition of great bodily harm, which is a sufficient amount of protracted pain, which I read. So if you want to say, then you have to either say it does not qualify as a sufficient amount of pain, which all of the legal experts say it does, or you have to say that some other argument to say this is wrong. Like saying what the specific definition is doesn't matter here. It makes no difference. You just have to say either it qualifies as sufficient pain or not.
Got it. Sufficient pain. So how do we determine what the sufficient level of pain is to justify that abortion is self-defense?
Why do you which premise does that refute? I don't need to give you a specific answer.
I'm not refuting a premise. I'm trying to clarify what your position is. Like I'm like at this point, I'm not even looking for the contradictions or the inconsistencies right now. I'm simply trying to determine.
I don't need to give you a specific definition.
You just keep saying it's all the legal definitions. Oh, the experts say this.
Yes.
And then I ask, what do the experts say? You go, I don't know. Go ask the experts. That's not an argument. You're not debating right now.
No, I don't need to provide that. Like, as I said, I don't need to give you the specific exact definition. I can just say it causes enough pain.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. Like,
yeah,
you would need to say it does not cause enough pain. I don't need to give you a specific amount.
So, so if he refutes it by saying, like, he disagrees with the pain threshold, and you guys haven't established what the pain threshold is, can you refute that? Or
yeah, I can say the legal definition has. Like, if you go ask the doctors, they say it does. They're the experts. So you're wrong.
You're simply okay. Great. So you're appealing to the authority. What does the authority say?
Again, I don't need to answer that. Like, if you want to debate, no. Wait. I'm not done. I'm not done.
I've heard you. Hang on.
Hang on. Stop. Because I'm trying to follow this too. If Zen says then, because I'm trying to get this right in my own head. So if Zen says then, well, the experts don't say that.
Well, I literally just read the court cases where they literally said that. So I mean, what Zen would have to say is the experts are wrong. Pregnancy does not cause a significant amount of bodily harm, which then he looks like an idiot. Or he has to admit that they're right and I win the debate. Like, those are his options. I don't need to give a specific definition here.
No, I want, if I just simply say, I disagree with what the experts say,
then you're an idiot.
Well, if you strictly appeal to the experts, appeal to the authority, isn't that a fallacy? Isn't that called an appeal to authority fallacy?
No, appeal to authority fallacy is only fallacious when you're not appealing to actual authorities. Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy Fallacies, Section 9.
Idiot. Okay.
I'll quote the Stanford Encyclopedia of Academic Philosophy what actual fallacies are.
Listen, dude. Part of a debate, I have no problem actually just appealing to an authority to back up what you're saying, as long as you're able to articulate.
You don't need to do that. That's not how arguments work.
Hang on. As long as you're able to articulate precisely what that authority is saying and how it applies
that's not
to
a part
your
of the
argument.
argument.
When somebody asks the question, okay, you're appealing to the authority, what are they saying? And you're just like, I don't know, go ask them. Like, that's so incredibly bad faith. You're not being informative at all.
No, that's not how arguments work. You can appeal to authorities if they're actual authorities. Like, I literally just quoted the Stanford. Let me respond. Let me respond first. So, as I just quoted the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, which is an academic peer-reviewed source of academic sources, the definition of appeal to authority is if they're not real authorities. If they're real authorities, you can appeal to them, but it's not fallacious.
I'll grant you that they're authorities. What are they saying?
I don't need to give you that. If you need to say that they're wrong.
This is not serious.
Wait. Stop.
No, you're not serious.
I'm not done yet. Not done yet, kid. Not done yet, kid. Come on,
serious.
kid. Can you mute him for a second? So
hang on. Let him go. Hang on, let him go.
So again, my claim is pregnancy causes enough physical damage and pain to qualify as great bodily harm as stated by the experts. The doctors and the lawyers have a very specific criterion for that. Do I need to know that? No, I just need to know, does pregnancy cause... Wait, stop. Does pregnancy cause enough obvious physical pain and suffering to qualify as great bodily harm? The answer is yes. Like, I don't need to give you the specifics of what the criterion is. I just need pregnancy is pretty serious physical harm. Like, I don't need to give you the specifics. This is what your argument is like saying, well, what is a heap? Like, you probably don't even know what the problem of the heap is. Giving a specific criterion for something that's an obvious thing doesn't matter. If I can say it's significant enough that it qualifies, I don't need to give you the specific.
You would say, well, quickly, just to address like that problem of the heap, like that's you wouldn't use the word heap in a formal setting. You would have to only use that colloquially. Sorry, that's just like what that means. You would use it in a casual setting, and we know what we're saying in casual conversation. But if you're trying to assert some sort of logical basis behind a heap, well, that's an unclear, not really a formal definition. So I understand, but that's what you're actually doing right now. You're asserting bodily harm. You're asserting interpret what can be interpreted as self-defense, but then not being clear on what that definition is. It actually your definition of bodily harm here is equally as susceptible to like that problem of the heap that you referenced. As the heap itself.
No. So like, let me try to explain this to you. So the problem of the heap is that knowing how, like, if you add an extra grain of sand, does it become a heap now? Add an extra grain of sand, does it become a heap now? If you look at a single grain of sand, it's not a heap. It's definitely not a heap. It has to be a sufficient amount.
I understand.
Sand.
I know what the problem with a heap is.
So if you cut someone's arm off, I don't need to give you the specific definition of great bodily harm to say that's great bodily harm. Causes a lot of pain, permanent damage. Do I need to give you a specific cutoff point? No, that's definitely great bodily harm. So if I can give you an example, wait, I'm not done yet. So if I can give you an example of something that causes significant bodily harm, I don't need to give you a specific definition of great bodily harm to be like, yeah, that's great bodily harm. Pregnancy is, without a doubt, obviously great bodily harm, like cutting someone's arm off. I don't need to give you a specific definition. You just have to be not an idiot to recognize this. It causes a lot of great bodily harm. If I took a bowling ball, shoved it up your ass for 9 months, yes, that is great bodily harm. I don't need to give you a specific definition to say it's great bodily harm. You just need to use your eyes.
Okay. So basically, this is like he's basically saying, here's the definition, just accept it. Don't dispute it.
No.
Even if it's unclear, you have to just accept it. You have to
No,
accept
I didn't say
that a human
Hang on,
being
let me finish,
simply
TJ.
that a human being simply existing in the womb is inflicting bodily harm upon the mother. How that is, I don't know. I'm just appealing to the experts. They say it's bodily harm. Why do they say it's bodily harm? I don't need to know that. But you need to accept it, even if it's unclear.
I didn't say any of that.
This is the most bad faith argument I've ever heard in my life. This is insanity.
So that's not what I said.
You said, okay, I can agree that cutting off somebody's arm would be inflicting bodily harm upon them. You're causing them pain, you're causing them suffering without their consent, and you're willfully inflicting that upon them. But the human in the womb is not actively doing anything. They are simply existing in a place where they actually don't even have the option to leave, even if they want to. They're not consciously
One sec. So remember at the very beginning, I read.
Go ahead.
Well, at the very beginning, I read that malice isn't a part of personal injury suits, so intent is irrelevant. It makes no difference. Zero difference. So intent is completely irrelevant. Doesn't matter if the person intends to cut your arm off, or it's an accident, or they're having an epileptic seizure. It's still great.
No, it does. It does matter.
I literally read the legal definition at the beginning. Malice is not a part of personal injury. No intent matters. Personal injury.
Justified self-defense intent matters.
No, it doesn't. That's I literally just read the legal case at the very first sentence I said. Malice is, I'll do it again. Let's go back and prove Zen Shapiro just doesn't know how personal injury works. Personal injury is a legal term that defines cases in which a person is harmed by another person or entity. A defendant in a personal injury case is not often accused of malice.
Okay, but we're not talking about personal injury. We're talking about self-defense, justified self-defense.
Okay, so
I agree.
One sec.
Drop a glass and it can fall on your head without my intent.
One sec.
So if I throw the glass at your head,
wait. So my argument was, pregnancy qualifies as self-defense, use of legal force, because it qualifies as great personal injury. The second half of that is personal injury, and personal injury is a legal term that defines cases in which a person is harmed by another person or entity. A defendant in a personal injury case is not accused of malice. So that's
okay. Great.
Personal. We are talking about personal injury.
One. Own the consequences of that position. Just real quick, own the consequences of that. Pregnancy, to use your words, pregnancy qualifies as great personal injury.
Yes.
Pregnancy. You're pregnant at 9 months in the womb. 9 months after conception, the woman is still pregnant.
Pregnancy
is great personal injury still occurring at 9 months in the womb.
So saying pregnancy causes great personal injury means the entire term, the whole 9 month term, like whatever, that whole thing counts as great personal injury. Now, at some point, it may not. At some point, there's some limit. Doesn't matter what that is to the argument.
It does matter what that is. In order to argue your position, yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. So again, how does my argument, which premise does not follow from or which conclusion does not follow from the premises, depending on where you place that marker?
Premise one, pregnancy causes great bodily harm.
So again, just to clarify.
You just
I apologize. I don't mean to interrupt here. So pregnancy means the entire 9 month term, the cumulative amount of pregnancy, the whole thing, not segments, the whole thing in its totality.
Got it. So pregnancy is interpreted as great bodily harm. Premise one.
Yes.
Premise two, great bodily harm justifies self-defense, killing.
Use of lethal force. Yes.
Premise three, killing a human that you're pregnant with is justified, right?
Conclusion, yes. That's not premise. That would
Okay.
be conclusion.
So then that's you've just accepted all the premises and the conclusion that you can kill a human that you're pregnant with.
Yes.
And is there any point where that
Oh my God.
modus ponens
Modus
would
ponens?
not follow at any point in the pregnancy? Is there a point where that would not follow?
So that
and if
doesn't.
not, why would
wait,
it not follow?
Wait, that doesn't matter to the argument. So like even if that's the case, so if at some point it doesn't follow, that doesn't affect the argument.
I would want to know why it wouldn't follow. I want to know why is it different in certain scenarios.
But again, you're not. Are you going to accept the argument, or are you rejecting the argument? So like,
look. I will accept the argument that you're laying out if you can be consistent with it and point out all the intricacies that I'm asking you. I'm simply saying, why is it? Why would it not apply in certain scenarios of pregnancy? What is it precisely about the pregnancy that we call this great bodily harm? Over, and you did use the word over a prolonged period. What does that mean? What does prolonged period mean?
Okay, let me try to explain this to you again. So if I make an argument, all men are mortal, Socrates is a man, Socrates is mortal. But then you ask, well, what about monkeys? Are monkeys humans? It doesn't matter. Like it says, if all men, it doesn't matter what the qualification of a man is. It makes no difference. If someone is a man, they are mortal. So asking what the cutoff point is doesn't affect the argument. If there's a cutoff point, the things before the cutoff point justify abortion. It's correct. The things after the cutoff point don't.
No, because
hang on though. Isn't it fair to say, if you say Socrates was a man, for the other person to say, can you tell me what a man is?
Not if you like, not really. No, not in the context of this argument. So again, like if there's a cutoff point, wait. So if there's a cutoff point, that means before the cutoff point, abortion is justified, and after the cutoff point, abortion isn't. But no matter where that point is, that means some of them are justified. That means I've won the debate. Abortion is justified at some point, right?
No, it's because it's not consistent. I'm not agreeing with you. I'm not conceding the debate to you. I'm simply trying to establish your position. And yes, in that what is it called? I don't speak in propositional logic. But where you say premise 1, men are mortal, premise 2, Socrates is a man, conclusion, Socrates is mortal. It is valid to say what is it that constitutes a man? That is a very valid question to ask.
No, it doesn't. So that's a question of soundness, not validity. So do you know the difference between soundness and validity?
I'm familiar, but not. I don't.
Okay. Validity means the conclusion follows from the premises. Soundness means the premises are true. So those are two different things.
So I'm testing your soundness.
Right, and that's true? Not. I'm trying to show you the validity thing. So
how do we ground that Socrates is a man?
Wait. So I'm saying that you're not addressing the argument because you're not addressing the validity. Do you grant it's valid that? So like if you keep saying
I'm addressing the soundness first.
Right, and that's you're not addressing the argument. So again, let me try to explain it to you again.
No, contending with the soundness of your argument is contending the argument.
First, you start with the validity, then you go to the soundness, not the other way around. So start here.
Why is that? Why can't I just start with the soundness?
Let me try to explain this to you again. Let me try to explain this to you again. So, if I say pregnancy is great bodily harm justifies use of lethal force, and you say where's the cutoff point? Now, if there's a cutoff point, I can grant there's a cutoff point. That means that everything before the cutoff point, the argument is true and sound, right? And only after the cutoff point, it's not sound. So before the cutoff point,
is there such a thing as a pregnancy where
you're not listening? You're not listening. So
is there such a thing?
I wasn't quite done.
Hang on. Let him finish. Hang on.
So the argument is, if there's a cutoff point, everything before the cutoff point, the argument is valid and sound. That means I've won the debate. So I don't need. Yes, there's a cutoff point. I don't need to know what it is. You need to say there is no cutoff point.
You're not even explaining your position. Is there?
I don't need to.
Is there such a thing as a pregnancy where?
Zen, you're not addressing the argument. You need to address my argument.
Is there such a thing? I have a question for you. Is there such a thing as a pregnancy where bodily harm, according to your definition, is not being inflicted, and it would not be justified to get an abortion? Okay.
Yes.
What would that pregnancy entail?
I don't need to give that.
What is it? What? Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Help me understand here. Help me. What about this don't you understand?
Well,
I don't understand what you mean when you say bodily harm.
That's not relevant to the argument.
Well, we're not getting
relevant to the argument.
Hang on. We're not getting anywhere here. I did reach out to somebody who I wanted him to means test this so we can see if there's problems going on here that I could identify. He's a philosophy major. And he says, look, if the proposition 1 is all men are mortal, proposition 2, Socrates is a man, therefore Socrates is mortal. But if it turns out that man is incoherent, then it turns out the sentences are not propositional, therefore it's not capable of validity. It's fine to say I'm not sure if it's valid because I don't know what that word means.
Then he's an idiot, because valid, it would still be valid. You can't make it unvalid if the term is incoherent. So he's an idiot. But again, wait. So I have a point to make. I have a point to make.
Let me finish then.
So, as I said before, if at any point, if there's a cutoff point, that means I win. You can't say I'm wrong if there's a cutoff point or not.
Not if your argument is not sound.
Well, he's saying not propositional.
Oh,
so
no.
Like...
Stop. No, because if there's a cutoff point, everything before the cutoff point, it's sound and valid.
Okay, how do we ground that it's sound though? What does it mean when you say you have to ground bodily harm? You have to ground what a man is. Cutoff point means like after the cutoff point, it's no longer great bodily harm. Before the cutoff point, it is great bodily harm, right? That's the cutoff point, right? Yeah, I want to know.
So before the cutoff point,
how do you ground it? How do you ground it prior to this?
Hang on. Let him finish for a second because I want to hear this. I do.
How do you ground why it's sound prior to the cutoff point, and what is the difference after that cutoff point? Why is it no longer?
The cutoff point doesn't matter. Remember. So if it's sound before, stop. So I'm trying to explain basic logic to you here. So if before the cutoff point it's sound, then I don't need to say anything about after the cutoff point. I can say everything before the cutoff point, abortion is justified by great bodily harm. I don't care what's after the cutoff point. I've just proven my point.
What is the cutoff? How?
I don't. The cutoff point doesn't matter. If it's anything after day 1, there are legal justifications for abortion. You're an idiot.
It does matter.
Like how do you not understand this? Cutoff point 50-50. Let's say it's 50-50. The first 50% of abortions are justified. I win the debate. It doesn't matter where the cutoff point is.
But you have to justify.
No, I don't. How do you not understand this? This is basic logic.
This is insanity. You are not good.
Yeah. Well, so what he's saying is that if it turns out that it's not a proposition, because all arguments as sets of propositions can be sound. They can be valid arguments, but still be incoherent.
What the philosopher is a dumbass. He knows nothing of what he's talking about.
I'm going to take a wild guess.
So the guy in your comments is a dumbass. He has no idea what he's talking about. Don't bring him up again. You have to address my argument. My argument here is that if there is a cutoff point, I can just grant there's a cutoff point. Everything before the cutoff point, I win the debate.
You aren't grounding it before the cutoff point.
Not quite done.
You're not establishing that your propositions are sound.
Yes,
I am.
You're
not establishing that.
Because yes, I am. So oh my God, you're so stupid. You're so stupid. Holy shit.
All you're doing is calling me stupid, and I'm telling you why.
No, I'm literally explaining to you why what you're saying is dumb.
You understand that?
I'm literally explaining to you why what you're saying is literally stupid.
I'm just laughing at you. Dude, you're an idiot. You're an idiot.
Oh my God, how can you be this stupid? So again. So if you say, unless you say there are literally, like, to use the example of Socrates as a man, unless you're saying there are literally no men, no one is a man, as long as you grant there is a single man.
Not what we're saying.
Wait, stop interrupting, kid. Stop interrupting, kid. Holy shit. If you grant that there is a single man on the planet, then the argument follows. The argument is true. It is valid and sound. The only way to say it is not is you have to say there are literally zero men.
You would have to ground. This is what you would have to do to validate that argument. You would have to ground what a man is and how Socrates meets that definition in order to justify that conclusion that Socrates is moral.
I don't, because that's obvious. You have to argue there are zero men. Unless you argue there are zero men, if you grant that men are a real thing, I win the debate.
No, your conclusion is that Socrates is mortal because Socrates.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, what if you didn't know what a man was?
What? It doesn't matter. So if you grant, like, do you not know what pregnancy is? Have you never heard of pregnancy? Are you ignorant of what pregnancy is?
Well, no, that's not what I mean, though. I'm just saying.
No, that's what this debate is. He's claiming ignorance of, like, the most basic things everyone already knows about. Like, I don't know what a man is, so I can't grant the argument. Like, then you're an idiot.
No, it's simply for the sake of argument.
Let me explain
if somebody disputes your definition of man, you have to be able to define that.
So again, I don't need to give a precise definition of man because we all know what men are, right? We know what a man is. Biological man, XY chromosome. We know what that is. I don't need to give a definition. We know what minute, so we can say yes.
Okay, you just
yes.
did. Okay, there you go.
Stop.
Hey,
Stop.
perfect.
Stop.
Hang on.
Stop.
No,
Stop interrupting,
right there,
kid.
right there.
Stop interrupting, kid.
You gotta stop. You gotta stop.
Stop interrupting, kid. Can you mute him so I can finish my point?
Hang on, both of you, because we're not getting anywhere here, right? We're just going around in circles.
I can move us forward.
Okay.
No, you can't, because I need to respond to the stupid shit you just said.
Let TJump respond. We'll move it over if you can move it forward. Go ahead, TJump.
So again, if I say Socrates are all men are mortal, Socrates is a man, Socrates is mortal. If you start giving like a pedantic, I need an exact definition of man or I can't grant your argument, well then you're a fucking dumbass. You're just so fucking stupid you aren't willing to talk. So don't interrupt. Because we know what a man is.
Let him finish. Hang on, just let TJump finish.
He just said a bunch of words to call me
I know you got plenty of debate though left.
I'm not done calling you a dumbass yet. So if we know what a man is, if it's so obvious,
sure of that one.
If we know what a man is, anybody who's asking for a definition of man is just being pedantic and because they're avoiding the argument because they know they've lost. We know great bodily harm is just
to establish clarity.
Can you mute him? Can you mute him so I can finish?
Can I please respond? Or are you just going to
If you let him finish, I will let you have the floor, I promise. But please let TJump finish.
So we don't need to give an exact definition of great bodily harm. As he admitted, if you cut someone's arm off, that qualifies as great bodily harm. So we know great bodily harm is a significant amount of physical grant. He's granting the concept is coherent. He knows the concept is coherent. He's not saying the concept of great bodily harm. Can you please mute him so I can finish? You need to mute him so I can finish.
Let me respond to what you're saying, dude.
You let me finish.
No, I want to respond to what you said like 3 minutes ago, dude.
Let me finish. Let me finish speaking. Could you mute him so I can finish? Could you mute him so I can finish? I need you to mute him so I can finish.
When I asked you what a man is, and you said everybody knows what a man is, and then what you do, you defined a man. You said person with an XY chromosome. You defined man. Congratulations.
Hang on.
Now do that with bodily harm.
I'm going to leave if I have to keep putting up with this. You got to shut him the fuck up. I got to be able to finish my point.
Zen, you just got to let him respond, and I will let you have the floor. I promise. But just
I want to respond to what he said 3 minutes ago.
I know, and you'll get a chance to.
Write it the fuck down. Respond to it after I'm done. Idiot. Fucking dumbass. So he's already granted great bodily harm.
Hang on.
Mute him. Holy fucking shit. Mute him now. Mute him fucking now.
He's muting himself.
Fucking dumbass.
Mute people if I can avoid it.
Holy
go ahead, TJ, finish. Go ahead.
He's already granted great bodily harm is a coherent concept. We understand what great bodily harm is. He admitted cutting an arm off is an example of great bodily harm. Shoving a bowling ball up somebody's ass for 9 months is an example of great bodily harm. Do I need to give it a specific exact definition? No, we already understand the concept. Like we understand the concept of man. We do not need a particular definition. He's avoiding the topic because he's a dumbass. So, no, I do not need to give a specific definition of the cutoff point because it doesn't matter. If there is any cutoff point,
hang on, it's almost done.
Fucking dumbass.
I don't believe
Mute his fucking dumbass. So, if there is any cutoff point, and we know there is obviously a thing there, then guess what? I win the debate because everything before the cutoff point is great bodily harm. The argument is both valid and sound deductively, you dumbass. So unless you argue there is no such thing as great bodily harm,
he's not done.
Mute his dumbass. Holy fuck. Last fucking warning. Mute his dumbass or I'm gone. Mute him now. Mute him now. Just mute his fucking ass now. I'm so tired of this. Mute his fucking ass now. We're not going forward until his dumb ass is muted and I see the fucking mute button.
Richard Spencer.
Mute his fucking ass now.
I can't mute him in a blood sport debate.
Bye.
Man.
Ugh. Shoe.
Tom?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. How's it going? I caught the tail end of that debate. That was fun, huh?
Yeah, what a dumbass.
How did he not understand the argument is my question.
He did. He's just trying to deflect, to bring up a talking point to try and get away from actually admitting that I'm right.
Right, because as long as there is any point before the cutoff point, the argument needs to be conceded.
Yep.
And as soon as he figured out that, he was like, well, I cannot concede that. So now I have to pretend like I've never read English in my life.
Yep.
And I have no idea what any of these words mean.
Yep.
Yeah, that's how the argument is made, by like breaking it. Yeah, that's how the anti-abortion argument is made, right? They get. Well, I noticed at the end that it was supposed to be a blood sports debate, and that it struck me because I was watching the Jay Dyer debate recently because I needed a giggle, and I guess I'm wondering, why do you go back to blood sports places if
he wasn't?
It's like
I didn't know it was a blood sports thing.
Oh.
So that was not told to me.
Oh, yeah, I kind of dumped it on you right at the end. Like, oh, it's a blood sports, man. If you had known it was a blood sports, would you still probably have done it?
No. I'd be like, no.
Interesting.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello. Just a question about moderators. What's the point of having moderators when they're so useless?
Yeah, exactly. Like, if there's a blood sport, what's the point of a moderator? That's a good question. Like, you expect, if there's a moderator, you expect them to actually moderate, and they didn't.
Yeah, they have one job. Just one job.
Yep.
Push mute button. Are there any other moderators that are that bad? Or is this one just like the worst?
The guy who was with Jay Dyer was that bad. Like, I didn't expect this guy to be that fucking useless. Like, holy fuck.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to copy the Ethan Ralph method.
Yeah, that's his Ethan Ralph. That's his name. Oh, what's gonna go
When he
on?
brought on the guy who apparently knew philosophy. Andrew is the guy from the Crucible. He was like, I asked my philosophy friend, and he tells me that if you tell your opponent, I don't know what a man is, that invalidates the argument. I almost had a heart attack. I was like, if you give a deductive argument, even if you didn't know the content of any of the words and the premises, right? It's not about the contents for validity. It's about the structure.
Yeah, I think his argument is that if the definition of man is self-contradictory, like a square circle or something like that, then it wouldn't be sound or something like that. Then that's fine. That would be like, I think that's what he intended.
Right,
but...
right. Yeah, and that's for sure. The problem is that the definition of the word that you were using, or I guess I should just say the word that you were using, and by no means was it self-contradictory. It was the heaps thing.
Yep.
Like it is a certain amount of suffering, and at some point it rises to great bodily suffering. And any time that it's at great bodily suffering, the abortion is justified. And any time where it's not, it's not. But as long as there is any time where it is, argument conceded.
Yep.
Well, was the guy trying to be that stupid, or is he that stupid? Because
well, it's not stupidity. It's deception. Like, they're deliberately trying to find something that that makes your argument look incoherent. So, like, if you say all men are mortal, Socrates is a man, Socrates is mortal, and you say, well, what is a man? And then you go down like a definition of evolution and say, how do you tell the difference between a man and a Homo erectus or Homo habilis? Oh, well, you can't tell the difference. Oh, well, therefore your argument's invalid. That's what he was trying to do. So he was trying to be so pedantic about the problem so that to show, oh, you can't give an exact definition, ha ha ha. And to try and make it undermine the argument, which you don't need that. That's the problem of the heap thing. As long as you can give an example where it counts, you don't need to give a specific examples of where the cutoff point is, because there are examples where it counts.
yeah, but that's the thing. You took 5 minutes to explain that to him, and he couldn't understand. So
I did.
He's stupid.
I did explain that to him on multiple occasions. I said, is cutting someone's arm off great bodily harm? Yes. He admitted.
Yes.
He's like, yes, that is. Okay, so there are obvious examples of great bodily harm.
Yeah, but
Yeah, as long as you can think of one example of great bodily harm, you can compare the known to a new example and you can say, does it fit the criterion, yes or no? If it does, then Tom wins. If it doesn't, then you have to justify why it's distinct from the
I
other
think he just
example.
never let
Yes.
go of his objection to the authority. Like he really desperately wanted to say no, the authorities are wrong. But the way that TJump was framing, he knew like that would look foolish. It just doesn't hold water, and so he was trying to find these weaselly ways to get back to undermining the authority.
Yep.
When he didn't understand the appeal to authority fallacy, I genuinely chuckled. That's pretty funny.
I joined late, so I didn't hear about that.
Oh yeah, he was like, if you quote experts in a relevant field on their opinion on a particular issue, that's fallacious.
Yeah, he said that. He said that's an argument from authority fallacy. I'm like, no, it's not.
How do you even say that?
Most theists actually think that's the case. Most people who don't know philosophy think that any appeal to authority is a fallacy, just because like the name of the fallacy is appeal to authority. So it sounds like if you're say an authority says, then it seems like that the intuitive definition of that string of words, appeal to authority, would fit the case of you just saying an authority says, but it doesn't. That's not what it means. It has a very specific definition.
Unless
Right,
it's the
yeah.
authority of their religion, then it's all fine.
Yeah, unless God said so, then it's fine.
It's designed to, that fallacy really needs to be renamed appeal to like improper or appeal to like misplaced authority.
Yep.
The amount of people who have gotten confused by just the title of the fallacy and they think that it's actually a fallacious argument to like rely on a doctoral opinion on a particular issue is really sad.
Hey, Tom, I just wanted to check if you're doing okay, because I've never seen you like that before.
You haven't seen the Jay Dyer debate?
I was
Not
gonna
really,
say
I
I've
don't
seen
think
Tom
so.
like that before.
Go through the dumpster fire list. Go see my one with Jack
Those are
Aimstrich
phenomenal.
in the Discord and Jay Dyer. No, I'm not okay. I could really use a few grand. Like that would make me feel a lot better. Donations are great. Come on, guys. You're not gonna like donate me out of my anger.
Hey, TJump, I want to challenge you a little bit on this topic.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I've heard you say that it's immoral if a rock lands on your head, right?
What was that? The full question? Was there? What?
Well, just try to follow me for a little bit. I've heard you said that it's immoral if a rock lands on your head, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now let's say that I'm walking down the street and I see you like just laying there having a seizure. Am I morally and or legally obligated to help you?
No.
No, correct. We agree on that. What if I'm the one that, let's say, I'm in my car, I will run a red light and hit you and cause you to be there on the street having a seizure? Am I legally and or morally obligated to help you? And when I say
No.
help, I don't mean thoughts, prayers, best intentions. I mean,
No, you can't. You
I'm
can't
not
be
legally
charged.
obligated.
You're not like charged additionally for not helping the person. You're going to be charged for like hitting them with the car, but you're not going to be like there's not like an additional charge for not helping them, unless you like try to run. Like if you tried to run, they'd be charged for that, leaving a crime scene. But there's not like you didn't call an ambulance. We're going to charge you for that.
Have you heard about the what's it called, the duty to rescue laws?
Nope.
Well, the duty to rescue laws basically said that if you see somebody like in distress or needs help, you're not legally obligated to help them unless You caused the harm, the 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 distress, something like that, or uh, there's a special relationship like employer employee, something like that. So you are legally obligated to help. And I'm not saying legally obligated like they're gonna force you to help. It means that if you don't act and this person suffers or they die, then yes,
Yeah,
you
I
are
wouldn't agree with
legally
that. I don't think
obligated.
anybody's ever been like convicted of that anyway.
I think it is,
Except for
but I
like
can't mention any
if you're like
cases.
what's it? Lifeguard or things. Lifeguards are obligated to do that, but not like regular people.
I I well, let's say that there are lifeguards. There are lifeguards, and they're not. They do act. Let's say you're injured, and there's a lifeguard, and they help you, and you live. But and I didn't do anything. I ran over you. I didn't do anything, but you lived because of the lifeguards. I'm not going to be charged for manslaughter because somebody else helped you.
Right.
But if I didn't help you, then yes, I'm going to be charged with like manslaughter. And you
Right.
die, yes, it's going to be manslaughter.
Yes.
So I am legally obligated to help you.
No. So like you're gonna face consequences proportional to the damage caused. So if you killed me, that would be manslaughter. But if you didn't kill me, that wouldn't be manslaughter. So it's all dependent on how much damage is caused. You're not like obligated. Like you should probably call an ambulance and hope I don't die, because that means that's going to save you some prison time, but you're not obligated to do so. It's not an extra charge.
Well, do you agree that it will be different, the charge, if I help you and you don't die? It will be a different charge. I won't.
Right, it
I
wouldn't
won't
be
be charged
manslaughter
with
'cause I wouldn't
the
die.
manslaughter. Exactly. It will be. I don't know, like reckless endangerment or something like that. It will be less if I do help you
Vehicular
and
assault,
you live.
yes. Sure.
Something like that.
Yes, there's obviously going to be a different charge for different levels of damage.
Perfect. Going back to the what if with the rock thing? Let's say I throw the rock.
Throw the rock.
And it hits you in the head, and you get injured.
Yeah.
Go back to go back to the same thing. Go back to the same thing. If you die and I don't do anything, well, I'm going to be charged with manslaughter. But if I do help you, it's just going to be a reckless endangerment, something like that.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep.
Would it be a valid legal legal defense for me to say, you know what, it wasn't me. I didn't consent for gravity to pull on the rock. Would that be a valid legal defense to say it wasn't me? It's not my responsibility. I didn't consent for gravity to pull on the rock.
Only if we lived in the best of all possible worlds and could rewrite the laws of physics.
Okay, but we don't live there.
Yeah.
We don't live there yet.
Yep.
Okay. Now use your analogy with pregnancy and the what do you call it? The evil dictator and eating hamburgers.
What?
Does it apply in the same way? That's saying, well, I ate the hamburger, but I didn't consent to get pregnant.
Yes.
So it does apply. Same thing, right?
Sort of. So like, if eating a hamburger is not something that you choose to get pregnant by, because it's happening to you. So the difference is that when you throw a rock, it's happening to somebody else. When you eat a hamburger, it's happening into you. So there's a difference there.
Well, it is happening to two people. You do grant, right?
Well, the problem is the location. So if you eat a hamburger, say you throw a rock, let's use your throw a rock example. Say you throw a rock and somebody is like teleported inside of you without your consent. Like if you're throwing a rock in your own backyard, not at anybody, you're just throwing a rock. And somebody is magically teleported inside of you are you morally responsible? No, no, like you have every right to throw the rock. So if you're doing an action you have every right to do, that is not an immoral action. And because of that, someone is like teleported inside of you, then you didn't do anything wrong.
But if if there's a landslide and you're walking down a trail and the rock hits you, something immoral happened.
Yes.
Even though there wasn't a conscious action, something immoral happened to you.
Right.
So the person teleported inside your body.
Yep.
Didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
So you're causing an
no. That's the part. That's the part. You're not causing that. So like
yes,
if you do something you have every right to do, like throwing a rock in your backyard, eating a hamburger, whatever, and someone else is punished because of a natural consequence you have no control over, it's not your fault.
Well, how does that follow? If I'm responsible for hitting you in the head with the rock, and it wasn't me, it was gravity.
Because you have no right to throw a rock at someone's head.
No, but it wasn't towards your head. It was towards the air. I didn't consent for the rock to hit to pull. So like if you're I didn't consent for gravity. Gravity is nature. Okay,
one sec. So like imagine if you're in your backyard and you're just throwing a rock up and down in the air and a tornado picks it up and then throws it into somebody's head and kills them, you wouldn't be responsible. So if it's like that, where you threw a rock into the air and it was grabbed by the wind and the wind threw it into somebody's head, you're not responsible. So as long as you're not like throwing the rock at their head, or where you would expect it to hit their head, then you're not at fault. So yes, if you throw a rock and the wind grabs it and hits someone's head, then no, you're not at fault.
But I'm not doing that. I'm not giving you that example. I'm giving you an example that where there isn't a tornado. I just
so you're throwing it at someone's head.
Let's say I have three options. I can throw it towards the desert. I can throw it towards the middle of the ocean, or I can throw it towards a park. And I throw it towards the park.
Right.
And it hits your head.
Yeah, so that's you threw it at somebody. You threw it at people. You threw it in a place you had no right to throw it. You're at fault.
Same thing with sex. You can have sex many different ways.
Sex, you have a right to have sex. Sex is like throwing it in the air and having to grab a tornado. So sex is something you have a right to do. You're not doing anything wrong, like throwing a rock in the air in your backyard. And then the tornado grabbing it and killing somebody and hitting them in the head, that's the tornado's fault, not your fault. And that's what's happening with pregnancy. It's like it's nature is grabbing the rock and grabbing the baby and putting it in somebody. So the pregnancy example is like the tornado example, not the throw it at a park example.
I completely disagree. It's more like the park, because that's what happens. Because that's what happens when. That's what happens isn't an explanation. What's supposed to happen biologically when a male and a female mate? That's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to get.
That's an appeal to nature.
Procreation.
That's an appeal to nature fallacy.
That's
the fact that's the way nature works doesn't mean it's right. It's still wrong. That's wrong that nature works that way. It's immoral that nature works that way. It's something we should stop.
Well. Why isn't the rock and gravity an appeal to nature fallacy?
Because that's not biology throwing the rock. You're throwing the rock.
No, it's yeah, and the two people having sex, they're having sex.
That's not like throwing the rock. That's the natural thing. So the natural thing is like the tornado. There's some intermediary there.
Like gravity. Gravity is the intermediary.
No.
Intermediary.
No. So again, the nature, when you say because it's natural that this happens by biology, nature is limiting your freedoms, right? So it's saying this is a consequence of your natural actions that you get pregnant in your body. Throwing a rock in someone else's direction is not in your body. So the fact that it has a consequence in your body, which you have no control over, and you have every right over, you have every right to do whatever you want with inside of your body. You have the right to have sex inside of your body, and any consequence that is a result of that is not your fault. You still have ownership over your body, and you have the right to do anything you want inside of your body and in your property. So throwing a rock in a park is not inside of your body, is not inside of your property. It's outside of your property. You have no rights over the park. So if you throw a rock in the park, you're doing something you don't have a right over.
Right.
That's the difference.
But hang on, can I
think that-
investigate a little?
Go
So
ahead.
so if you throw a rock in the air, right, and if
Sure.
you knew that a person would appear midair and then the rock would hit him or them, would you still consider not morally responsible to jump in that case? 'Cause I think that's what's
sort of,
happening
yeah,
in
if
case
it's
of
like in your
pregnancy.
property or in your body, yes. Like if you suppose you throw a rock in yourself, like you have a big stomach or whatever, and someone teleports in your stomach and gets hit by the rock. No, it's not your fault. You have a right to throw rocks in your body because it's your body.
I see. Okay. So in which case it's still disanalogous, a person appearing outside of you.
Yeah, because it's not in your
because-
property, unless they're like literally in
Correct.
your home. So if you're in your home and you're playing baseball or whatever, and someone's going to teleport in your home, that's not your fault.
Got it.
All right. I think I get it. Well, let's. Yeah, sure. I get it.
I think like what I find intuitive about this is that we know that smoking causes harm, right?
Yes.
But if you still choose to smoke, then the doctor can't say that, oh, you knew the consequences that you'd get cancer, so now I'm not going to treat you, right?
Yep.
I think it's a similar argument.
No, the doctor will still treat you.
Exactly. So yeah.
Well, I think those are two
the
separate
reason.
things. So, because I think his argument is more the consequence to the other person is the morally significant part. So, whether or not you get cancer or you get pregnant or whatever as being damaging to your body, like I think that's like granted by most people, other than the idiot tonight, the Zen Shapiro guy. So, I think it's really more the objection is the fact that it's hurting somebody else is really more important than whether or not the doctor should treat you part.
So the real question is, who's a bigger idiot, Ben Shapiro or Zen Shapiro?
Ben Shapiro is actually really intelligent. Very good at rhetoric. So
Mind
Ben
if I-
Shapiro is more intelligent than Zen's a dumbass.
Mind if I jump in and ask a little bit about the objective morality stuff? I don't
Sure.
want to go down too far. Sure. Sorry, I don't want to poke the bear here.
It's open convo. Anybody can ask any questions.
Sure. So I understand your position pretty well, and I can kind of see it, and I somewhat agree with it in that it makes sense to call it objective, but to me it seems similar to saying like the laws of physics exist, and because the laws of physics, or because the world works in the way it does. For example, there is light, or there is visible light, and things develop eyes or ways to sense this light, and that's a consistent pattern. And because we see this pattern of things developing eyes, because they survive better when they see this light, it seems like saying morality is, or we can call that pattern, because we see that pattern, then we can say that there's some objective law. And that seems to be what you're doing when you say there's
Not quite.
objective morality.
So
Sorry,
laws
go
in
ahead.
physics are patterns that describe regularities in nature, right?
Yes.
So if we have a regularity and every conscious being has the same pattern of morality, or what we call morality, that's a regularity in nature. So it's not like light isn't a regularity in nature. That's not like light isn't a color. But
right. Sorry, go ahead. Keep
but there's some like underlying thing like electromagnetism that causes all of the light. And that's a regularity in nature, right? Whatever's causing the phenomenon is caused by some underlying law that is a regularity in nature. So the fact that we see light is caused by this field, which is objective. And so the fact that we experience morality, the phenomenon of a morality, like feeling bad when people punch babies or whatever, is like seeing light. It's a phenomenon. And then that phenomenon is caused by some underlying physical regularity, a law of physics. And that law of physics is the objective thingy.
So,
Is feelings objective?
No, feelings are
what's that?
subjective. That's the phenomenon. That's the seeing of the light.
So
you based your arguments on feelings. Does
Feelings
that not
are
mean that
feelings are the phenomenon. So we see stuff that's subjective. Our sight, like if we see a mirage, that's subjective. We see the image, but it can be caused by something objective. There could be a thing there, like an ocean, causing us to see the visual stimulus. So our subjective sense experience is not the same as the objective
able
cause.
to define? Do you have proof that feelings are subjective?
Yes, feelings are subjective. Sense experience is subjective.
No, senses and perception is a completely different to feelings. Do you
It's called subjective experience. So wait. So subjective experience is when you see things like colors, taste things like food, hear things like sound. Those are all called subjective experiences. They are subjective.
Yes, but they are tied to biological mechanisms.
So are feelings. Feelings are also tied to biological mechanisms.
You don't have any proof that they are tied to biological mechanisms. You don't.
Feelings?
Show me the proof.
Yeah, yes, we literally do. We literally do know feelings are tied to biological mechanisms. That we literally know the parts of the brain we can turn them off.
Where's the research? Where's the peer-reviewed research?
There's literally tons of it. Like,
show me then.
I don't really want to Google it right now, but you can Google it. It's pretty easy to find.
It doesn't exist.
There are people who have.
It's because it's not
no. Stop.
Then it's not.
So you can Google emotional processes in the brain and where it's damaged. You can learn that on your own.
Emotional processes.
The other guy, I think it was Goblin Lord. Did you have other questions? Were you the one talking before?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So I wanted to keep going down this a little bit. So I'm trying to grasp at what I feel I'm seeing, and maybe I'm not communicating it well. So the pattern, though, I feel like the pattern that you say that we see could simply be described as things survive better when they kind of develop in a way where they avoid imposition of will, so to speak, in the same way that electromagnetism exists and as a field, and then things develop ways to sense this field to survive better.
I don't think so.
No, you don't? Okay.
No, like bacteria does just fine. Bacteria is the most successful living organism. It has no morality or no access to it.
You do understand that something that is objective is mind independent, according to philosophical.
Stop. Abe. We hit a point where you just aren't accepting science at that point. So you just go with the science.
According to philosophical definitions, objective is mind independent.
Let's let Goblin Lord finish. So.
Thank you. Sorry. To respond about the bacteria thing. So if we were to say that some species exist that didn't develop morality, does that mean that? I mean, I don't see the relevance there. Like,
you said that morality could be explained by better survivability or something along those lines.
Yes. I don't mean like that must be optimal, but it seems like it could develop in that way. I don't see why it couldn't. Because
there are easier ways to survive without morality. Like, morality does not seem to be tied to survivability. You could make the argument it's tied to group dynamics, and things that require groups would be benefited by morality or something along those lines. But it wouldn't.
That's kind of.
It wouldn't follow that all life forms in the universe would follow the same pattern, though. And that's my claim is that.
Could I interject, please?
Wait, not yet. So my argument is that anything with a sufficient amount of intelligence and resources will develop morality. Like AIs will develop morality, and AIs don't need it to live.
That's impossible. I work in the IT industry, and that's absolutely impossible. It will never happen.
Abe, not your turn.
Abe, sorry, I'm
because
not really
I work with artificial intelligence, and I can confirm.
Abe, not your turn yet.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You were saying anything would develop this. So actually, but couldn't we say a similar thing about again, kind of going back to things that we see develop in more complex organisms like eyes? Like these seem to develop pretty consistently.
Right, but that
across
would
things
that would
live in light.
but that if eyes develop, that indicates that there's some objective phenomenon there that they're sensing.
Yes, but it doesn't mean that there's. So yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But it does. What I'm saying, also saying, is that that doesn't mean that there's some objective law that, or objective thing in nature, which, well, I guess it kind of does in a sense. I don't know.
But yeah,
But
but
I would
that's
say
that's
that-
like what I'm arguing is that just like eyes see the electromagnetic field and that is an objective field, our morality sees the moral field and that's an objective field. So that is the argument.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I kind of see that. I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of a stretch to say in a similar way, well, eyes develop because of an objective law in nature, which actually is kind of true.
What? Kind of true.
Yeah. So you would say it is?
Yeah, like the EM field that causes light is definitely an objective thing for sure.
Right.
Like what
Yeah,
we
I
see
still
is
feel
different, but the things we see, the patterns are the same. Like the
Yeah.
differences in the light spectrum is the same, even though the colors we see might be different.
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting. Anyways, I guess, yeah, that kind of pushes me more toward the direction of objective morality, I guess. It's interesting. Anyways, thanks.
Yep.
I think that was all the questions that I really had.
Cool. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Hey, TJump, can I jump in now?
Sure. Sure.
So, you mentioned that sensing, perceiving, these are subjective experiences. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if you and I were to look at the same portrait of a picture or a painting, are we looking at different paintings or are we looking at the same painting?
Same painting.
So wouldn't that be a shared objective experience?
No.
Why not?
Because we
Why not?
each have our own subjective experience caused by an objective reality.
If two things are of similar kind and they belong to the same class or category, they may have distinct features or attributes, but ideally they have they belong in the same kind. If I looked at a portrait of an image or a painting, and you looked at the same portrait or an image, and we both had a healthy eyesight, we would see the same thing, and therefore
Even if we saw literally the exact same thing, they're still subjective experiences.
No, the interpretation is the subjective experience.
Literally everything you
Sensing,
experience is
perceiving,
wait, one sec.
perceiving is the objective.
Abe, hold up. So everything you experience, every sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, thought, those are all just your brain's interpretation. It's all subjective. There's no way for that to be objective to other people unless you're like the Borg.
I don't think you've understood. So we look at the same picture. You agree that we both look at the same picture. No, I'm please wait.
See
we look at the same picture, right? And we both see the same picture. How would you explain that?
Our brains produce the same subjective experience.
No, it's not the same. You can't. That's a fallacy. That's impossible. You can't say that.
Which
you're able to
fallacy?
produce
Which
same.
fallacy is that?
You can't use subjectivity and the same. You can't put same and subjective. It's a
which
contradiction.
fallacy is that?
It's a contradiction. You can't.
That's
have
not a
same
fallacy.
and
So you can have two experiences be exactly identical. They see everything the same. Literally every image they see. Say part. Wait. Stop. Abe, don't interrupt. Abe, don't interrupt. So literally everything they see could be exactly like I could clone you. I could like duplicate. Let's say I duplicated the entire universe because these are hypothetical, like multiverse. There are multiple universes where there's the exact same person having the exact same thoughts and the exact same feelings. Everything is literally the same other than their location. So their distances they're slightly far apart, but everything else is the exact same. But it's still subjective experience because it's still just their experience.
It isn't. Our sensing, our perceiving, when we use all of our senses.
Oh my god.
If you belong in the same kind, and you
Everything
can I finish,
we
please?
experience is subjective.
No, it isn't. It's your interpretation that is subjective.
Oh my
It's your
God. Oh
interpretation
my
that
God.
is
Abe,
subjective.
that means
Whereas-
subjective. Your interpretation is synonymous with subjective. All right, God, did you want to say something?
No, because you
Abe,
can have a
stop.
tool.
Abe, stop.
You can
There's
have a
nothing.
Abe, stop.
Just a minute. There's nothing that I have ever experienced in my entire existence that wasn't subjective. I could literally say, get two glasses, sit down 2 glasses of a beverage, and we could both take a glass of that beverage, identical glass, identical beverage, same temperature, and we're going to have a different experience of it.
No, we're
And
not.
if
We're
I
both
could
having
do
the
the
same
exact
glass.
same
Wait,
thing
I don't-
tomorrow,
God, I don't think that
and it
matters.
would be different again.
God, I don't think that matters.
No,
So-
no,
wait,
no,
wait,
we're not.
hold
No,
up,
we're
hold
not.
up,
We're
Abe.
not
Hold
gonna
up,
have-
Abe,
we're
Abe,
not-
stop
we
interrupting.
have
I'm gonna
the
mute
same
you. Stop,
thing.
Abe, stop. So God, it wouldn't matter if we had the same, if we literally felt the exact same feelings. It would still be our own subjective experience. So whether or not
Yes,
we feel,
that's what I meant.
No, it wouldn't. It would be exactly. It would be objective, but the
No, it wouldn't.
interpretation
The-
may it might slightly be
Abe,
different.
Abe,
but then
that's not
it's the
what
interpretation that makes it
objective
subjective.
means. That's not what objective means, Abe.
Objective means without the feelings. Without it's about what
It means
you are both
mind
experiencing.
independent, Abe. It means mind independent.
So then, how does your argument of morality fit in if it's mind independent?
Because the painting is there. If we're both looking at a painting, the painting is objective. Both of our experiences are subjective. But if we both died, the painting would still be there.
That doesn't make any sense. I'm talking about us utilizing our eyesight to view the same
That's what
object.
I'm talking about,
And if
Abe.
we're able to both confirm that we're looking at the same object, then how do you explain that? You can't say it's because we have the same experiences and say we have the same subjectivity, because same and subjective are two contradictory terms.
No, they're not, Abe. They're literally not.
They are. Who else
No, they're
agrees?
not.
I'm
Abe.
sure there's many
All right,
people
all right.
here that
We're
agree.
moving on. We're moving on. I've debunked you enough on this. Anybody else got any questions?
Glasses prescriptions.
Why was I muted?
Hi, I've got a few things.
Sure.
Your future predictions with your morality.
Yep.
I've got a few of my own. I'd like to hear your opinion on.
Go for it.
So, imagine we all became vegans in about 200 years, and the way we think about slavery now is what we would think about eating meat and factory farms are like in the future, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So the future testable prediction would be something like it'll be illegal to eat meat in 200 years in first world countries. There'll be higher taxes as there are for cigarettes and alcohol in maybe 100 years, things like that.
Yep.
What do you think?
We've already made those predictions. Those are really common knowledge.
I've told some people that, and they think it's stupid. So
yeah, most Republicans for sure. But yeah, I totally agree that yes, I don't know if it's 200 years seems fast, but yes, I agree that once we get to a point where we can technologically just print food that tastes just as good, yeah, it's going to be immoral to eat meat for sure. I don't know about the time frame though.
Okay, and one more thing about AIs getting consciousness. When that happens, if your morality is right, then they would also get human rights, but only the human rights that would affect the imposition of will.
What? So like human rights are things like, are you asking would we like see them as having human rights, or like would they like they'd inherently be morally important whether we recognized it or not?
I'm saying we would recognize it. We
wouldn't necessarily recognize it. Like computers, if they were conscious now, we just wouldn't recognize it. They'd still be morally significant. We just wouldn't know.
Okay, well, when we do know, then we would give them human rights.
Yes, presumably that would be the moral thing to do.
Hey, TJump, give me an example of...
Wait, Garrick, were you done? Did you have more questions?
That's about it. But like if the chat has any other predictions that would happen if TJump's morality is right, I'd like to know about it.
Oh, like mine, the reason... One sec, Abe. So my prediction that I make is that we will eventually see Roxas falling on people as immoral. So the reason I make that prediction is it's something that's unexpected. Like if we can use the current pattern of moral progress to say, yeah, well, obviously veganism is going to be preferred, human rights, not beating children. There's lots of things that are pretty obvious, but I wanted to make a prediction that was not obvious, something that like is specific to my morality. And that's in the far future, when rocks fall on people, we'll see that as immoral. So that's the prediction that mine makes that is unique to mine.
Are there any predictions that are sooner? Because there might be like 1,000 years time.
Well, all the ones like you said, like the eating meat will be seen as immoral, like those are obvious. So we can make those predictions for sure, but those aren't like special enough for me. But yes, that one would be.
I could make a prediction that probably going to be in the next 40 to 50 years max. Using fossil materials to power engines will become immoral as it becomes more scarce.
I don't know if that's immoral, more just bad for the environment. I don't know if it'd be immoral though. Yeah. So, Garrick, was that it? Or do you want
to? I think that's about it. Cool. Yeah.
Anybody else got any questions?
Do you have an example of the ultimate moral experience?
No. I don't know what that means.
Someone who is absolute moral.
No.
Moral, I should say.
No.
That doesn't exist.
Not
Could you ever be absolute moral?
Absolute moral would be a place where it's impossible to force anyone to do anything they don't consent to. So no, I don't think that exists.
So do you not think that reaching absolute morality will ultimately lead to people not doing anything at all?
Say that again?
Do you not think that leading society to become absolute moral would lead to people not doing anything at all?
No.
Which would actually mean, in order to become absolute moral, you would need to seize everything. You would need to do nothing.
Nope.
Because even the steps that you take.
So I've said no like 6 times, so you don't need to keep explaining anymore. So no, people would still continue to do things. They'd play video games, they'd watch movie, they'd have relationships, they'd do lots of stuff.
Ultimately, society would deem those things immoral.
No.
To you. Yes.
None of those things are immoral. None of those things are involuntary impositions of will.
They are.
No.
Not at all.
Literally not.
They are. They are
someone
the impositions of will.
Me playing a video game is not an involuntary imposition of will. No, that is incorrect.
It is because it's addictive, and so therefore it has a.
So I don't think you understand what involuntary imposition means.
Okay, then explain that. Please explain that instead of using some big words for it.
So will is your desire. So I desire to play a video game. An involuntary imposition would be someone preventing me from playing the video game. Me playing the video game, me being addicted to the video game. Those are not involuntary at all.
Okay. So did everybody capture that? Did you guys hear what he wants us to become?
But if I prevented him from playing video games.
Sorry, can I just finish, please? It'll take 1 second. He wants to create a society where everybody sort of does what they desire. That's what he wants. Do you guys not hear that?
Yes, that is.
It's disgusting.
That's disgusting. Everyone does what they enjoy and doesn't not slaves. Oh God, the not slave world is disgusting.
That's chaos. That's so bad.
That's literally the opposite of chaos. But Mango, did you still need me to?
Chaotic.
Did you still need me to unban you on the other account, or is this one fine?
Who is that? I have no idea.
You are Mango. You are Mango.
What?
Or you're either Mango or what's his name? Biblical history.
That's a fallacy. That's a fallacy.
Which fallacy is it?
That you're Mango.
This guy's definitely Mango.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he seems smarter than what's his name, Philip.
But did you guys not hear what he just said? He said he wants to create a society where everybody meets their desires. That's a horrible way of living.
Well, yeah, if I want to play video games tomorrow for 6 hours straight, I'm going to play video games tomorrow for 6 hours straight, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I'm going to enjoy those video games.
Why don't you play it 24 hours a day? Why don't you do that instead? Since it meets your
desires.
Because
humans have to sleep occasionally.
None of your business.
There you go. So,
but at the same time, guess what? I did a 32-hour rush burn one day. We played for 32 hours straight.
Is sleeping immoral then? Is that what you're trying to say? Because it's a involuntary...
No, sleeping is natural.
Wait. So if you don't want to sleep, then yes, sleeping is immoral. Being like your body forcing you to sleep would be immoral.
So let's say because it's a biological nature, it's something that's embedded within us to sleep. Is that immoral?
Yes, if you don't want it.
No, it's not about if you don't want it. Is it immoral for something that you already have within you?
What? That doesn't. If you don't want it, yes, that's immoral. Like if you're aging and you don't want to age, that's immoral. Like if you have cancer and you don't want to have cancer, that's immoral. If you're short and you don't want to be short,
Is there anybody here who objects to sleeping at all? Because sleeping isn't something that we chose to have. It's just
yeah, I object. I object to sleeping. I would prefer to never have to sleep.
Love to have an
Yeah, I
extra
object to sleeping
several
as well.
hours every
I'd love
day.
it if I never had to shut down.
Okay, and so you would require technological.
Thank you for the super chat,
and
Shadow. Appreciate it,
innovation.
and Frank and Mango. Appreciate the super chat.
So you would need innovation and technological advancements in order for you to somehow come up with a solution to prevent you from having to go to sleep and constantly have energy. Is that the solution here?
I don't understand what you just said.
So because you mentioned that sleeping is immoral, how do you plan to solve sleeping?
Once we have the
It's technology,
technology to impart into our brains and have them survive and get enough resources without sleep, you won't need sleep anymore.
So you have all these technological advancements, you have all these innovations to help you maintain your level of your desires. Is that right? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that the ideal
Yes,
experience?
the
for you?
idea would be to use technology to give everyone the ability to achieve their desires. Yes.
And what would happen if your
Wait, somebody else has a question?
I was just gonna respond to that.
I don't care.
I was just asking Abe.
Yes.
So what's your take on morality? What do you think?
It's one of those philosophical, sort of long-standing debates that I feel is rightfully purposeless. There is really no sort of need for us to even investigate morality, because it's an ever-changing landscape, and we all know that. An example of this is, the recent acceptance of the LGBT group. We all know that in history, that same group was accepted as well, but over time they've been accepted and rejected and accepted and rejected. And so to me, that pattern shows that morality isn't something that's objective. It's just this ever-changing pattern. That's all it is. I can't hear you.
So do you have a positive assertion as to why it's necessarily nothing, or do you just haven't heard a reason why you think it's something?
No, all I said is it's just this ever-changing pattern. It's just a system of belief, like many other systems of beliefs. And one of TJump's arguments is that it's not an ever-changing pattern. It's a pattern of progression. I disagree. It's not a pattern of progression at all. As the example that I gave with the LGBTQ community, there have been societies in the past who've accepted this group of people and then rejected them straight after, and then accepted them later, and then rejected them, and then accepted them. So that pattern to me shows that this is an ever-changing landscape. It's not something that has. It's not something that.
It's either a pattern or it's not. And if it's a pattern, that's what we're looking for. There's an identifiable strain there, and that's what we're trying to
It's an ever-changing pattern. It's an ever-changing pattern. So it's not
and it's
something
not
that.
a pattern.
Is it a predictable pattern? Can you predict it?
It is a pattern if it's changing to this other state, and then it's changing to this another state, and then it's changing to another state. That's the pattern that I'm talking about.
So the pattern is that there is no pattern, and that's the only pattern?
The pattern is that it sort of if you think about it, when you turn on a light switch and then you turn it off, there are only two sequences, right? That's what I'm referring to. It's a on and off, on and off, on and off pattern, basically.
TJump got T-dumped. TJump, you just got T-dumped, bro. How does it feel?
You mean when I wrecked you on basic philosophy?
You got fucking T-dumped, bro.
You mean when I wrecked you on basic philosophy?
No, you just got T-dumped.
Zen, you are impossibly dumb. Don't even bother.
Okay, and you got impossibly T-dumped.
Okay, so can you explain? Can you explain how deciding where the cutoff point is makes the entire argument false? Because
you got impossibly T-dumped.
So you can't, because you're an idiot.
So no, what I did was I exploited that your your argument was not sound, therefore it's not valid.
Okay.
In order to have a valid argument, the
Oh my God! I really want to know. I really want to know.
You did not provide
bro,
sound
bro,
and
bro,
coherent
bro. I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna mute you, bro. I'm gonna mute you.
Could not have followed.
You've been server muted. So I really want to know what part of my argument didn't make sense here. So like, let's say the cutoff point. Oh, did he leave? He left.
He left.
So but if the cutoff point is like at any point 50%, then the first 50% the argument is valid, which means it's valid and sound. So if
Could I finish my argument?
One sec. So if there's a cutoff point anywhere above the 0, I win. That's like, I don't know how he doesn't understand that.
Winning or losing isn't the purpose to life, you know that, right? But anyways, someone mentioned that you can't have an ever-changing pattern. I disagree. Do you know what pattern actually means, right? So it's a repeated design.
Well, randomness is still a pattern. Randomness would still be a pattern.
How so?
Pattern is a repeated design. That's what it is. It's a repeated design.
No, you
That's
can have
the
a
meaning.
randomized
It's like saying no pattern is still a pattern. So randomness is itself a pattern. It's just a specific kind of pattern.
The pattern is that there is no pattern.
Well, no, it's not. It's not that there's
pattern is repeated design. So that's the accepted meaning.
It's not that. So anything that has no pattern is a specific kind of relation that is a pattern.
There are many ways in which you can use the term pattern.
It
could either mean
normally taking a repeating series.
Yeah, exactly. It could also mean like
repeating.
It doesn't.
But it could also mean an arrangement. It could also mean an arrangement or a design that's regularly found.
Why are we talking about patterns? What is the point of the patterns conversation?
A pattern can be a non-repeating.
I was
non-repeating.
Because Abe thinks that that morality has no identifiable consistency or strain. He thinks that morality is an ever-shifting series of nonsense claims, basically. And I was saying that if there is a pattern to it, then there is an identifiable strain of logic that can be extracted, and that's the point of what we're trying to
do. The logic that you're sort of looking for is basically this, right? You have a society that isn't as advanced as today, so they're not going to be as welcoming or accepting of certain groups of people. But as the society advances and they become self-sufficient and self-realizing, they begin to sort of go and accept anybody and everybody, basically, because they know that they've been able to build a society that's maintainable. And so that is how you get, in today's culture, that's how you get people being accepted for whoever they are.
But what I was asking, what you're responding to is, do you have a positive assertion as to why morality is a nonsense, no-win possibility, or is it just that you are unable to see what pattern is there?
First of all, the reason why we're even able to have these types of conversations, and the reason why we're not actually out there in the wild right now hunting for food, is because of the society that we've been able to build. Because it's maintainable, we're able to have these types of conversations. Is morality important? Is this important? Is that important? That's mainly because we are privileged enough to live in a society today to even have these types of discussions, first of all. And second of all, morality is merely it's a frequency. So there are points in the human experience where morality is at an all-time high, and then there are points where, it's absolute chaos.
Okay, but none of that,
morality.
None of that amounts to a reason why it's necessary that morality is obscure. Why it would be impossible to find a pattern to morality.
He arguably contradicts himself.
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm back here to explain why TJump got T-dumped.
T-dumped.
All right. So can you explain to me? Wait. No, let's let Zen try to explain this. So, it doesn't matter anywhere if the cutoff point is anywhere above 0. Does that mean my argument is correct?
Yeah, I'll explain. So you set forth propositions that were not coherently sound, therefore they could not form a valid and sound
Wait.
argument. Therefore, you got T-dumped.
So you admitted that if someone's arm's cut off, that's great bodily harm, right?
So I admit that your propositions were not coherent.
Okay, you're server muted. So is it the case you said, like I can just quote you, getting someone's arm cut off is great bodily harm, right?
T-dumped.
Yes, it is, or no?
Why isn't he engaging?
You got fucking destroyed, TJump.
Okay, bye.
And then you rage quit like a little faggot. Come on, bro.
Yeah, so going back to whoever I was sort of debating there. Who was I debating just a second ago?
You should be careful with the F word there.
T-dumb.
Is it
Who
possible
said
that
what?
someone could do advanced AI research while not understanding the subject-object distinction?
Are you referring to me?
No, the other dude who didn't understand the subject-object distinction.
Anyways, going back to the morality argument and it being an ever-changing landscape. That's all it really is. It's an ever-changing landscape. So even if we try to sort of determine it to morality, you know, we may be able to, and you know, it may lead to objective morality. It may lead to being, you know, validating some of the points that TJump argues about. But you know, if society were collapsed today, you wouldn't give a damn. You wouldn't give 2 cents to morality. Trust me.
That does not amount to a reason why morality is impossible. Even if nobody gave a shit about morality that in that way or for that amount of time, it doesn't mean that the operative concept or pattern or whatever physical thing that's happening in the world that we're trying to identify as objective morality wouldn't actually be there. It just means we wouldn't be looking at it or thinking about it.
Look, all I'm saying is if the collective, if all of us were to get into one room, under one roof, and we all spent, you know, if we spent 24 hours just thinking about God, I think we would be able to come up with, you know, reasonable conclusions to whether or not God exists or not. So you need you need a supercomputer or some quantum computer to come up with a sensible conclusion as to whether or not morality is objective or subjective. I wouldn't say it comes down to us humans being able to define what morality is, because.
But it would come down to us humans defining what a God is and what it wants.
No, we don't get to define what God is either. You know, morality, God, these concepts are, you know, beyond our capabilities. So I wouldn't like.
Right, but the only part that we have to work with are the parts that are within our capabilities. Like whether or not there's a God or anything like that.
Because we all admit that, we all accept and admit that because we all admit and accept that we're limited beings, we also come up with limited capabilities and limited thinking. And so if one of us comes up with an idea that sounds right to us, but in reality it may not be exactly that.
Okay, then it's a completely unreliable, obscure concept that is based. I mean, the only thing to say that there is a God outside of what we understand is to speak from within what we understand. There's no way to get outside of what you understand to point to shit out there.
Yeah, you do, because our understanding. Yeah, because we might think that.
How are you going to get out of your own mind?
We might perceive that, you know, God exists, right? But reality might be entirely different. There might be this other concept that we haven't even considered.
That might be maybe, and all of that is your conjecture within your own mind.
No, because we can't rely on our own perceptions to come to sensible conclusions. We can only rely on our.
We have nothing else.
We can only rely on our perceptions. We can only rely on our perceptions when we're dealing with things within our surrounding. But when we go beyond our surroundings, I think that's when things start to become complicated.
You can't escape subjectivity. You are stuck in your own experience. There's no way for you to get outside of your own experience.
Exactly.
You mean he doesn't understand
you
the
would agree
subject-object
that
distinction?
We're not talking about the distinction between objectivity and subjectivity. What we're talking about here is, you know, No, we're not. We're talking about us utilizing our limited thinking and gnosis to come to, these conclusions that seem profound, but when in reality they may not be because of the fact that we're limited.
All of that still happens within your subjectivity.
No, you're bringing in subjectivity into this. All I'm saying is because we're limited, the conclusions that we come to may seem profound to us, but in reality, God could be looking down at us and laughing at us.
It could be. Anything could be outside of what we understand. That's not a reason to take it seriously.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Not anything. All I said was things that are beyond our perception.
100 billion light years out, the world could end at a glass sphere, and literally anything could be on the outside of that, and we would never know it.
But see, the thing is, the way in which you sort of depict the universe is based on a human mind. Do you understand?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying to you. The way that you depict God is based on a human mind. The way that you depict anything beyond a human mind is a human mind depicting it. There's no way for you to reference anything outside of a human mind in that way, in the way that you're trying to.
And so if someone came up with an argument that sound profound to you that explained objective morality, would you hurriedly accept it, or would you?
It would depend on the argument.
Would you be convinced by it?
It depends on what it is. Categorically, there's no way to say yes or no. It depends on the specific argument.
Okay, but you have to understand that when we're dealing with these philosophical concepts, 9 times out of 10, we get it wrong because we're using our human mind to try to explain our reality.
Right, but unfortunately, that is all we have. That is all we will ever have.
We have technology today, do we not?
Yes, we have technology, but we have our mind's understanding of what that technology does and what that information means.
Okay, that's awesome. So you're saying that technology is merely an altered human being? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. I'm saying that I'm saying that you're trying to posit that there is some God out there that we can't understand. It's just beyond our comprehension, right? And I'm saying that all of. Okay, what exactly are you saying? Then clarify.
What I'm saying is these philosophical ideas and concepts that we are trying to sort of determine is beyond our scope. It's beyond our capabilities. And so, for example, morality, for instance, it's beyond our scope. We shouldn't even be considering morality. There's no real use case for our given experience.
Morality is well within the scope of human experience. I don't think there's, well, maybe in Christianity or maybe in religion, you might find people that want to say that morality is divorced from human experience, but absolutely not. No, there's no morality in the stars. It's just a bunch of balls of fire floating around in a vacuum. There's no morality going on there. Morality has to do with human interaction, or with the interaction of living things.
What I'm trying to say is that the stars exist, right? They exist above us. They're within our experience. But there is no tangible effect that these stars have on us. So,
there's sorry, you're quiet.
Okay, the stars exist, right? They exist within our experience, right? Does that mean that we should, look into them?
We should what?
Should we look into things, even though they exist in our experience?
Should we look into things even though they exist in our experience? I mean, yeah. I don't get the point or the central thrust of where I go, because we like to understand things, and understanding helps us survive, and information is good.
Okay, so information is good, and because we need to survive, all right. The aspect of surviving, I understand, but to understand the stars and to understand these complex philosophical concepts is beyond our scope. It's beyond our capabilities. So why should we even consider
hydrogen
it?
and helium mostly? Like
Yes, it is. An example of it is God, right? Example of it is God. Everybody has their own
No,
interpretation
God
of
is.
this data.
Look,
Therefore,
God.
human mind, human thinking isn't significant. It's
God
not
is
so
essentially
sufficient
the
enough.
Minotaur. God is the Minotaur or the Kraken. God is a thing that ancient people used to make up to answer hard questions when they wanted the understanding that they didn't have the answers to. Like, where the fuck does the rain come from? Nobody knows. Well, let's make up an answer. Making up gods was just commonplace back then, and a lot of it's persisted because it's assisted state control and various other reasons. But like, as far as taking those concepts seriously, that like to say it's beyond our comprehension is to say that the labyrinth and the minotaur are beyond our comprehension. They're not beyond our comprehension. We know where those myths and those ideas come from. People make that stuff up all the time. Used to for entertainment, still do in comic books, theater. It's like people do that shit. People make shit up like that constantly. But to say that you're referencing
those imaginary beings actually exist in a separate dimension. It's called imagination.
Yeah, it's called your mind, imagination. Yes, it's contained inside of your skull. That is the limit of that world. Inside of your head, inside of your brain. Your brain is the thing that exists.
It's not.
It absolutely is. Your brain exists in physical reality.
Isn't exist in your brain. Imagination doesn't exist in your brain. It's not neurons firing. No, it's none of those things. It's not a physical mechanism that results in imagination.
It absolutely is. Do you know how we know it is? Because we can literally cut your imagination with a scalpel. We can perform brain surgery on you and get predictable outcomes that happen in the deepest, most personal parts of your subjectivity. There is nothing inside of you that is so personal that it can't be touched by brain surgery.
Okay, so basically what you're referring to is you've severed the connection to that dimension of imagination. You haven't extracted it, prevented the person from
No. It's not like the imagination is still in there trying to get out and we've just cut the bridge to the real world. Absolutely not. The thing that is going that is not anything like what the best, most studied people have told us about how the brain works. That's just some happy conjecture that supports the idea of the soul.
The people that you're referring to, the people that have studied it, the people that you're referring to, these scientists and these neurologists, these are people that are focusing on the physical aspect, and they're not taking into account some of the other aspects.
Oh, you really think they're not taking that into account? You think they're
not
sitting
taking
there?
Into account philosophical aspects. They're not taking into account.
Of course they are.
Spiritual aspects.
Of
they're only
course they
focusing
are.
on
They
the
live in
physical
academia
aspects.
where they deal with real philosophers. They deal with people who study philosophy and its application to those particular realms. Like
no,
they're not in a vacuum. They're not some idiot in a lab coat tinkering in the. You need them to be that so that you can hold on to your God belief. They are not.
No, I'm not holding on to any type of belief.
You're holding on to your belief of the soul and the
that's what
mental construct that
if you actually look into the definition of a scientist, you will realize that a scientist is someone who is concerned with the study of the physical world. That's what a scientist is. You do realize that?
Yes, they're concerned with the study of the physical world. They're also concerned with consciousness.
No, they're not. They're not.
They absolutely are.
That's not science. Science is.
You don't want that to be science, but we can just
no.
Look
If
that
look
up
into
real quick.
Google it right now. It's literally it's concerned.
Google
with
neurology.
Google neurology.
Like there's an entire field.
You don't even know what science is. Even neurology, for instance, because it's tied with science.
Neurology is a fun subject to study. Try it.
I just told you what science is. It's the study of the physical world, and so therefore a neurologist will study the physical aspects of our brain. They won't actually look into the philosophical aspects. And you have to agree with that. But anyways, objective morality isn't something that has it's not progressive. It is it's a frequency. It's up and down, depending on the situation.
Well, look, it's either I listen to the 100 best schools on the planet or I listen to you. And if you would suggest that I listen to you over them, then you're not worth listening to.
I am the best.
Sorry.
I am the best. Because I'm not a scientist. I look at the
okay.
Science only focuses on the physical world. There are other aspects to it.
Anybody else, feel free. I'm all set.
So that's all I have to say.
There's nothing to argue against, TJump. There's nothing there. Just wind.
Someone said that if logic exists, logic does exist. It's just one of the many aspects. I don't think it's the aspect that we should all focus on. We all know what logic means. It is referred to coming up with logic, reasoning. That's right, and it does exist, but it's just an aspect. Logic is concerned with reasoning conducted or assessed according to the strict principles of validity, right? Whether or not something is valid.
But to be fair, as Abe, he doesn't need like learn to Google neuroscience. He's smart. He's too smart in philosophy to understand. Ah, shit.
Logic is reasoning conducted according to the strict principles of validity. That's what logic is, right? Coming to sensible conclusions that can be validated, right? So you know.
Yeah, did I make the guy leave? My bad if I did.
What was that? Hello? Yeah, I would have to agree that Zen won the debate. I think he was.
Hey, what was the claim you were making about God being particles or something?
What was that? Sorry. Oh, all I said was that morality. Someone said that. Oh, should we look into morality? Should we observe and come to sensible conclusions regarding morality? And I said that no, we shouldn't because it's beyond our scope.
We shouldn't look into morality because it's beyond our scope.
Yes, so if we happen to come to human sensible conclusions to morality, there are consequences to that. As TJump mentioned, if we come to a conclusion to morality, what do you think is going to happen to our existence? Everybody's going to want to meet their desires, and we know that's absolutely impossible. We can never cater for a society where everybody can meet their desires. It's absolutely impossible. It's retardedness. And so you have to really think about the impact that this kind of thinking has on our society.
Wait, why is morality everybody meeting their desires?
That's what objective morality is according to TJump.
Oh, I thought you were like talking about there can be no objective morality. So I think that TJump is saying something like the objective standard is that the best of all possible worlds is just something like if nature was ordered in the perfect way to account for non-imposition or something. But then he has like this subjective standard of like, you know, I'm not moral because I eat cheeseburgers, but it's because I'm not in the best ordered world. I'm disordered or something. It's almost like a theist like kind of thing.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that, and I understand that. That isn't really, you know, a profound statement. That's just what we experience every day. We understand that we live in an immoral world. There are immoralities around us that surrounds us. People understand that. It's not something profound. You know, that's just, you know, we all observe that. We all understand that. But to come to quote unquote sensible conclusion to morality being objective according to human culture, that's when things become dangerous, because the outcome that TJump is looking to sort of bring about is for everybody to meet their desires and for everybody, you know, to focus on themselves and to, you know, self-love and all of that nonsense. And the world is trying to bring in.
Can I say something? I'm actually a subjective moral relativist. There is no such thing as objective in my point of views.
Cool.
Okay.
Awesome. But yeah, just be very wary about what TJump's goal here is. He's clearly looking for us to continue to develop technology so that we all meet our desires, but we all know we can't meet all of our desires. And to meet all of our desires isn't actually something we want anyway.
It seems like you're assuming his motive, but yeah, I don't know. Just from my experience with TJump, it seemed like that he has this conception of a best possible world, and he's trying to like work out what would that mean for morality and moral intuitions, and I'm not sure. Maybe he does have this other motive that you're suggesting, but from my experience, it just seems like he was saying something like, look, if you just follow it to its logical conclusion, there is this, thing that seems like a better world, and thus if, we were to be moral, let's say objectively moral or morally perfect or something, then we would never impose on will or, this type of thing, but that we have to in this world or something. Do you think there's a contradiction there?
There are two contradictions there actually. First of all, if we are to live in this world of pure morality, that world, according to TJump, is a world where people meet their desires, right? Everybody's meeting their desires, and we all understand that we can't meet all of our desires. So inevitably, the consequence to that is no existence. If you want to have pure morality, there is no existence. That's what pure morality is.
Well, it seems that you're extrapolating from the current world to the objective world, and TJump can correct me if I'm misrepresenting him, but it just seems like everyone meeting their desires being his moral standard, while there may be some issues with it, it just seems like you can imagine a world where everybody meets their desires and there's no contradiction. So I'm not sure where the contradiction comes in at. I think he's even said something like, well,
because
if you
it's
don't...
impossible to meet your desires. Even if you were to create a world, let's say we created a fantasy world, we placed in characters and we gave them instructions to go ahead and meet their desires.
I am meeting my present desires right now.
Right.
Yeah,
So Zen wanted to say something. Wait, one sec. I unbanned Zen for like 5 minutes because he paid me $2. So let's see if he can make a coherent argument this time.
Oh, thank you for unbanning me, TJump.
So, if there's a cutoff point, is everything before the cutoff point still a valid and sound argument?
No, because I object to your definition of the word. When you say
Great bodily harm?
Enacting bodily harm, so that temporarily invalidates the soundness of the proposition.
Temporarily means time-based, so that doesn't work. So you said in the debate...
Because I'm saying it's a provisional claim.
Temporal is the wrong word there, but you said in the debate...
you can establish the soundness of the propositions.
Right. So that's why I asked...
Is not valid.
That's why I asked in the debate, if you cut off someone's arm, is that great bodily harm? You said yes. Are you taking that back?
Yeah, no, I would agree.
Okay, so great bodily harm is a coherent concept.
Yeah, if you can define in the sense of the pregnancy, if you can define what great bodily harm is, then I'll accept that you didn't get T-dumped. But for now,
yeah, so physical pain, lots of physical pain. That's good enough. So if you agree that cutting your arm off,
how are we grounding that? What physical pain?
Whoa! This is just basic intuition here. If cutting someone's arm off causes great bodily harm, then shoving a bowling ball up your ass would also be great bodily harm, right? Right, about the same.
Let's keep this on the topic of pregnancy, because I think again.
So a baby weighs up to about 10 pounds, right? Babies weigh.
During the T-dumping, I said this. The most painful part of the pregnancy is the actual delivery.
Yes.
So wouldn't you say that abortion would be justified all the way up to term?
No, not necessarily, because the most painful part doesn't necessarily mean that the cumulative amount of pain would qualify. So
you said a great amount of pain.
Yes, doesn't mean any pain. So, as I said, most experts say it's like after the first or second trimester, depending upon, as I said in the debate, most people like in the first or second trimester. Wait, stop! I'm going to mute you. Most people most of the experts say that it ends in the first or second trimester is when it stops being justifiable, as I said in the debate.
The tea dumping? Is that what you're talking about? The debate? The tea dumping?
Where I wrecked you and showed you didn't know basic logic.
You got fucking tea
So wait. I'm going to mute you. So as I said in the debate, most experts say in the first or second trimester. So you're gonna bring up the point. So I answered your point. I answered your point in the debate, and I crushed you. So
no, you got tea dumped.
Premise one.
Wait. So I answered all of your questions accurately. I said yes, there is a cutoff point.
TJump got tea dumped. Who in here thinks that?
I think
server muted. Server muted.
I think he got tea dumped. To be honest,
I think you're functionally, mentally a child. You're emotionally incompetent, and you're incapable of admitting when you know.
Shut up, Faye. This Zen guy is weird.
He is.
He's stupid.
I hate that I missed the debate. What is the dispute here?
So I made the argument that one second.
On how badly he got
I'll mute Zed and let him talk after. So I made the argument that pregnancy can justify use of lethal force because it's self-defense, because pregnancy can qualify as great bodily harm. And then I quoted all the different legal papers that literally say this: pregnancy qualifies as great bodily harm. And then his argument is define great bodily harm and tell me what the cutoff point is. And I said, well, I don't need to do that because it's obvious. Like, the effect of pregnancy on the body causes enough physical pain to qualify as great bodily harm. I don't care if you want a specific definition. And then he's like, what's the cutoff point? And he kept asking what the cutoff point is. And then I made the point that it doesn't matter what the cutoff point is, because if there is a cutoff point, everything before that cutoff point, my argument applies.
Okay.
And it's self-defense.
Okay, I concede.
Wait. If it is, it's Zen's turn. Zen, you can now tell your version of the argument.
So when I asked you to define great bodily harm, and you said I don't need to do that, what you are effectively saying is I don't need to ground the soundness of my propositions, thus rendering your propositions incoherent and invalidating your argument. Conclusion: you got tea dumped. Here, I'll mute myself.
Oh, you don't need to. Like, if you stop talking, that's perfectly fine. So essentially, his argument was that he's going to bring up a pedantic definitional thing and not actually address the argument. So my argument was both sound and valid, and he was trying to bring up a pedantic definitional point, which is irrelevant.
If it was sound, then the propositions would be coherent.
I'll have to server mute Zen Shapiro. So, like, if I tell you what I think the analogy I used was, all men are mortal. Socrates is a man. Socrates is mortal. And you bring it up, well, what really is a man? How do you tell the difference between a man and a Africa, like whatever, Homo africanus or whatever, like that's irrelevant. Like, everyone knows what a man is. You don't need a specific definition of a man. So if we use something that is pretty obvious, like great bodily harm, like obviously having a baby does a significant amount of pain and stuff to the body. So I don't really need to define exactly what great bodily harm is, because the point is there. It's obvious.
You do, because it's subjective. You do.
It does not. It doesn't. Stop, Abe.
Okay.
Abe, let them talk.
I just want to say, mute him! Mute me harder, TJump! Mute him!
Okay, there you go.
I wish I could.
Mute me harder!
Hey, TJump. Regarding the bodily harm thing, I disagree there. There are certain bodies, there's certain aspects of our body that, we are prepared to let go of or concede. So even if
you might be, but not everyone. So saying we are prepared, like, you can't say everyone is voluntarily going to give up a part of their body, like they don't.
All right. Okay, I concede. Let's say pregnancy is bodily harm. So what, bro? It's part of the process. And even if it's a natural fallacy, who gives a shit?
Well, if it's a naturalistic fallacy, that means that you can't use it as a justification. That would be.
Okay, so what's your solution then? Do you want babies to be born out of these pods, these technological pods?
Technically, yeah, that would be an improvement. Like, if we could, like, take the baby out of the woman and put it into a pod.
Everybody listening to this guy, do you guys not hear?
Hold up, Abe. Hold up, Abe. I have to serve mute Abe. So yes, if we could, like, literally take babies out of a woman and put it into a pod instead, then we wouldn't need to abort babies anymore. We could just take them out. So it wouldn't be justifiable to kill them if we could remove them without harm. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, Abe, maybe
can I respond real quick? Hang on, let me give some closing thoughts here. I do actually want to apologize for my friends that came in and F-slurred you. I don't actually condone that. I do condone the F-slur, but not to ruin people's streams. So I do apologize for that.
Sure, no problem.
But Abe, you bring up a really good point. How the fuck can anybody listen to this guy? He literally advocates for the metaverse and babies being born in pods because he doesn't like nature and taking personal responsibility. Therefore, TJump got tea dumped. I'm out.
Bye. Come back. Give me another super chat.
Yeah. So
People's children.
maybe Abe, maybe you could concede that. So are you a biblical Christian just by chance? Oh, is he? I mean, is he?
I
he's
forgot to
muted.
unmute
Sorry,
Abe.
never mind.
My bad.
No,
my
no
bad.
worries. You don't
My
have
bad.
to. I mean, it's up to you guys.
No, I forgot to unmute
Oh,
Abe. That was my bad.
hooray! Yeah. So, what was the question?
Yeah. Do you Are you a Christian or a biblical theist or something?
Can I ask what you are first?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Okay. So, what are you doing in this chat room?
So are you gonna answer my question by avoiding it with the question? I was just asking you a simple question.
I'm purposely avoiding it because I'm not comfortable
What would his theistic
responding.
position got to do with anything?
Okay, well,
You see, I like
Christ
Mango
said-
better than Zen. Mango is more intellectually honest than Zen. Mango is better than Zen.
What's up, guys?
Who is Benga?
Abe is Mango.
Again, as Zen mentioned, the world that TJump wants to advocate for and bring in is horrid. Do not support it.
Well, I'm not
How's
supporting
everyone
it,
doing here?
but I'm just asking you a question because I think
Who's
there
up for
might
a
be.
$5 super chat?
Can you be quiet, please? He's trying to ask a question.
Well, I just think there might be like a point of like a bridge here where, like, if you are a Christian, right? We're in a disordered world, right? And so what's called the Garden of Eden was like this ordered place, right, where humans were in order, and the birth pains was a curse due to the fall. It was due to humans becoming disordered.
Actually, no, you brought up a really good point there. Actually, I think paradise is a really good example of the type of world that TJump wants to advocate for. The world where you meet your desires and there are no consequences. Is that
Well, that's I don't think
sort
that's
of.
completely analogous, but I do think
We're almost there.
I do think that T-Jump's morality world is very similar to the biblical conception of order and disorder, because again, the birth pains is a curse on the woman for falling from order and becoming disordered. So I think you could even agree with that.
But do you understand the fundamental aspect of humanity is that we love pressure, we love responsibility, we love to accomplish things. But if everything around us is doing that for us, we are left purposeless. We are left in misery. We want to jump off a bridge now. So, at what point are we going to say no to technology and, just live a normal life?
Well, it could be like on the biblical view that, being in the best possible world is just being ordered, and being ordered just means to, like on the biblical worldview, it's to love God with all of your heart and mind and stuff, and then love your neighbor as yourself. And so maybe he's just saying that, like, there's a possible world like that where people live out their desires, but their desires are in accordance with some sort of order or something. Like maybe some people don't desire to murder everybody or something in that world or something. You know what I mean? Like maybe we're in some disordered state where.
And it's not moral because there are psychopaths who are literally wanting to kill people. So
well,
in a
in this
moral
world,
society, according to TJump, he will need to somehow, build a society where killing is fine as long as people revive instantaneously, for instance.
If people are consent to that, if they consent to playing a video game where they can die and revive, then it's fine. But if they don't consent to it, you couldn't kill them.
Okay, so then it's definitely not paradise then, is it? Because in an ideal world, you would be able to kill anybody, but then they would just revive, and so they would just brush it off.
No, in an ideal world, you wouldn't be able to kill anyone unless they consented.
Okay. Anyways, but so the Christian guy, you mentioned a really good point there. You said we're trying to create an ordered world, but the thing is, you have to understand the world. Who is the king of the world, by the way? Can you answer that question?
No one.
Who is the king of the world?
No one. There is no king of the world.
No, according to the New Testament and according to the Christian religion, who is the king of the world?
According to Harry Potter, it's Voldemort.
I don't usually answer your question of people who
is
don't
Jesus the answer you're looking for?
The answer is Satan. So, as in the New Testament, the king of the world is Satan.
What?
Sin? Did you say sin is the king of the world?
In his hand, he's got the whole wide world. You know, they're not singing about Satan there. They're singing about Jesus.
Was it Satan or sin?
Yeah. So Satan is the king of the world according to the New Testament, and obviously the king of everything else is like the heaven and everything is God.
Okay, this is kind of where I'm going to have to step in here and
Oh
educate.
no, go away.
I was just about to make him do what I say.
I have to. This is kind of where I have to step in.
Oh, actually.
I have to. I can't stop. The original part in the original Hebrew,
Let me know when he's done.
Hasatan, please let me finish. Hasatan meant the adversary. There was no personification of a Satan until after the Bible.
Yeah, it was actually just a mistranslation.
Literally no personification. It was a job title in the original Hebrew.
I think it was a mistranslation of Sauron. I think it was meant to be Sauron, and they just wrote it wrong.
Oh, stop. No, I agree with that though. About it is just a job title. It's like a job description.
Thank you,
can see
convert.
this.
You're one of the first Christians that have been able to admit that to me.
Oh yeah, Dr. Heiser's been writing about this for years.
So converse contender, are you suggesting that? Sorry, not suggesting, but are you proclaiming that the Earth is the final abode?
No, there's going to be a new heavens and new earth. That's not what he's saying. He was saying that.
So
Satan,
no. You just answered my question there. If it's not the final abode, then why should we aim for a technologically advanced society where they do everything for us and we all meet our desires? Isn't that sort of like a sort of trying to interpret paradise on Earth? Isn't that what we're trying to do?
If everybody could actually get along in the world, we actually could make this heaven on Earth. It literally could be.
But
We
isn't
have more
that's not the
than
purpose, though.
technology to actually do it.
That's not the purpose, though. If it's not the final abode, then that's not the purpose, is it?
Well, like
the purpose of life is homeostasis. The idea of finding life in balance with reality, and we are happiest when
You have no idea what homeostasis is, mate.
Well, Abe, it sounds like you're saying that. It seems like you're making the argument that, like, well, I'm just going to keep smoking because you got to die from something. And I don't think that's what the New Testament teaches, right? It teaches that you should go out and serve others. Philippians chapter 2 it says to regard others more important than yourself, and so forth, right? So it's going to be different from. I'm not defending TJump's world. I'm just saying, like, you can conceive of how it would be true if you just. I mean, in a possible world, there's no like logical.
There isn't a single verse in the New Testament that proclaims. For us to create a paradise on Earth. It's merely a book of morality. That's all it is.
Well, I didn't say
it's not even that, Abe. It's not even that.
Yeah, and like Abe, I don't see the Old Testament laws as like deontic restrictions for all time like you do, though. Like, because there are just too many examples where God Himself changes the laws because they're for disordered creatures.
Well, Abe, don't you think the Old Testament was written by the devil?
Yeah, definitely 100%.
Oh, really?
Do you even know what the word devil means?
Dude, you've told it 1,000 times. Just cut it out.
Wait, what's the original meaning of the word devil?
Dude, you've said this like 1,000 times, bro. Get help, please.
Satan isn't
up.
the same as devil. Satan is different than devil.
Oh my god, he's literally said the same thing like 1,000 times. We get it.
Okay, so then you can answer my question.
What's your goddamn mother question?
I said, do you know what the original word for devil is?
Just say no. It's totally fine to say no. It's no one's gonna.
If
judge
I say
you.
no, he's gonna start to just say something.
Well, he's gonna do that anyway. He's gonna do that no matter what you say. It's gonna take longer if you say yes and get it wrong. So just say no.
Yes, I know all of the definitions. Okay, you don't have to go ahead and explain it.
Then tell me what the definition is.
See, it's just gonna take longer. Like he's gonna say it anyway. So just say no. Try no.
Is everybody in this audience like an instance of serious?
Maybe you'll get lucky and you'll actually give the correct definition.
Okay, go ahead, mate. Go ahead. Do your thing.
No, I want to know if you know.
Oh, I don't want to know about this crap, bro. Just do your thing.
But it's important. If you believe that something is written by the devil and you don't know what the original meaning of the word devil is, it's kind of
all I need to know
embarrassing.
is he wrote the Old Testament. That's all I need to know.
Wait, do you accept the New Testament?
Yes, that's obviously like, you know, if you think about it, it's like
Wait.
Then what
an
does it
updated
mean?
version.
Then what does the New Testament mean when it says that all Scripture is God breathed, theanustos?
What was that? Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, you said the devil wrote the Old Testament. What does it mean when the New Testament writer said all Scripture is God breathed? Theanustos is the word.
That's a contradictory statement. I don't
Well, it
agree
is
with that.
contradictory on your view because you think the devil wrote
No,
the
because if you look at
Old
one of the
Testament.
main tenets of the New Testament is that woe to the Pharisees, woe to those who follow text. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, they thought, yeah. Well, that's because they misused the text, right? They try to use them as
So
deductive
are you not misusing it right now?
How?
By saying that the Old Testament is of God when it's not?
No, I just quoted a scripture to you. You can accept it or reject it.
No, you quoted garbage. That's what you quoted. One of the main
so you
tenets
think the New
of
Testament is garbage? Okay, it's fine.
No, what I'm trying to say is because it's gone through evolution, it's bound to have statements and verses in there that are man-made and not God-made.
Okay, so all I'm going to say is that the Old Testament laws, just as it says, is Christ says in Matthew 19, they were given to you for the divorce law because of the hardness of your heart. He's saying you guys are barbaric.
Stop. You sound ridiculous.
I just quoted another verse.
You're lost
You're saying
in the
Christ
source,
is ridiculous.
You're lost in the source. You're contradicting what God said. He said, "Don't get lost in the source. Don't get lost in the text."
What verse is that?
I like how
Don't
you
get lost in the text.
What verse is that?
I like
It
the
literally
fact
said,
that
"Woe to the Pharisees and woe to those who follow
dodged my
text."
original question.
I don't
I'm
think
not
you
gonna
like
answer
the
your
New
question.
Testament.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I don't think you like the New Testament.
I don't think Abe even knows what the original definition is. Hey,
The definition
Converse.
that you're referring to is one
Question
of.
for you. Do you know the original definition in Greek? What devil means, essentially?
Oh yeah, because
say
Greek
no,
is like
Abe,
the language of
Abe,
everything.
Please try this. Please try to say no. Just see what happens. I want to experiment.
All right,
Do an
no,
experiment.
I don't. Go ahead.
It means slander. There was no divine claim behind it.
Thank you, Siri. I appreciated that. You want a cookie now?
Yes, I do want a cookie, please. I would appreciate that. Raisin oatmeal would be my favorite.
If you get a cookie from me, it's going to be at least 100 milligram.
Funny.
Sometimes I wonder if I'm talking to human beings or if I'm talking to like Siri or some Google search engine.
The point
Seriously.
is you deified an action. You can't deify an action.
Actually, I'm not so sure about that. Like that, you can do the same thing. Like Romans did the same thing. Like Echo, the goddess Echo.
I mean, you're right. You can deify an action, but like.
Well, you just contradicted yourself, mate. Just sit down, please.
Echoes are a thing.
Okay, so here's why I contradict myself, because I forgot about that one particular goddess.
This isn't a place of forgetting. I'm sorry.
The point is, why do you have to deify something that was originally meant to slander?
Look, mate, you gotta make life simple, man. Like, you're overcomplicating things, and you're
I'm not
introducing these
overcomplicating
concepts into
things.
your life.
I think Abe's argument is that he doesn't agree, like, with your original definition. Like, I think he would say that the modern interpretation is more accurate than the original definition. I think that would be his argument.
Doesn't form a coherent, beneficial, favorable.
Like, Abe, you would say that the word devil refers to an entity, not an action, right?
It's just merely the opposite of what God has commanded. So someone who does the opposite of God has commanded, then you're just basically venerating sin.
It would be an etymological fallacy to say that the ancient Greek is relevant anyway.
Technically, yes.
It's really not.
I'm not saying that at all.
Well, no, Abe, he was critiquing what Axiom was saying, not what you were saying, I think.
Yeah, he was, but it's not necessarily true though, right? Because you, as long as you admit that there's multiple definitions, you could appeal to like the etymology to be like, well, this, I think this is a better use of the term, but there are more usages or something like that.
The point is, why is one more correct than the other? Why did we differ from the original source, over this different being? Why was there a change?
You infer indexically, like from the sentence, what definition is being used at any given time.
Yeah, but that's not the point now, is it?
Yeah, because I think Axiom's point is given the original definition of the words from the document that Abe is using, the original definition doesn't correspond to the meaning he's using. Therefore, why should we adopt Abe's definition as opposed to the original context in which it was originally written? Wouldn't that the original context be more likely to be true if we think the document is the source of all knowledge?
This may not.
Thank
yes.
you, TJump.
So to slander is to basically publicly proclaim the opposite views of a collective. Would you agree?
Of a collective.
No. Slander is like to say something false about somebody, that they did something bad.
We can agree that something that is false is the opposite of true, right?
Sure.
And so if God's word is true, then the opposite of that would be false, right?
I guess so.
And so if you want to be pedantic, is basically just, somebody who has the, complete opposite views.
But again, you're still personifying something.
Yeah, I don't think there's
no,
actually.
All I've done is simplified it for you, for your little brain in your head. That's all I've done.
So there may not be an actual dispute here, because I think that they're not mutually exclusive. So, for example, if you look at some verses,
why would they be?
Well, yeah, like if you look at some verses, like in First Peter, it'll say that your adversary walks around. Your adversary, the devil, walks around like a roaring lion. So it's using a fictive entity as well as the term the adversary beforehand. So it's like your adversary, the devil, walks around like a roaring lion. So it's using like an
what that verse actually means is like, one of those social justice warriors that we see protesting and looting. That's what that means.
No, I don't think it's true. First of all, like if you read Tom Holland's book, for example, a lot of atheists will, like, you should probably read it. A lot of atheists don't like, I shouldn't say a lot, but like I've seen quite a few that don't like it because he's an atheist and he derived from history, the context, and the Bible progression that he thinks that, and he tries to show in his book Dominion that social justice actually comes not exclusively, but most forcefully from Christian ethics, because their whole point was about care for the weak, care for the impoverished. They were like,
no, that's not true at all.
One sec. Abe, hold up.
From the fact that society has become so advanced.
Abe, I'm going to mute you. So, Converse, I actually had a really interesting question about that because I had a conversation with a progressive Christian recently, and one of the questions I thought of was, do you think it's weird that the people who are the most open to progressive ideas seem to be the atheists, and the people who are least open to it are Christians, if what you just said is right, that progressive ideas come from Christianity?
Yeah, so Tom Holland, what he argued, I think he makes a great point on this, is he says that he wrote a book about how, barbaric or whatever Muslims, the Muslim culture was when he went over there, and he's like a Roman or a classicist, and he said that somebody stood up in the audience. I'm getting to your question, but he said somebody stood up in the audience as a Muslim and said, "You would never do this with your own views, being an atheist." And he said, "Okay, I will do that." So he went back and tried to challenge his views, whatever. He says that he realized that everybody has these myths, and he said, my myth was that the Enlightenment gave us these more progressive morals and so forth. He said, but whenever I looked back and actually done all the research, and he documents all the sources in his book, he said the Enlightenment didn't give us these things. It was he points out of all the instances of Christians doing, not that they did it exclusively, but that they brought about these ideas and so forth.
Wait, was that answering the question?
Well, because he said that he thought that atheists were being, like, it's because of the Enlightenment getting away from religion that we were taking these progressive. If you just mean like today as a phenomenon, it just seems that like it's intuitive from what he calls the Christian culture that we're raised in, and that Christians, the reason why a lot of them take the more conservative right-wing view is because they've been kind of conditioned by the traditions of the Western Christian tradition.
Isn't everybody conditioned? That's a stupid argument.
Well, it seems like the not that they're conditioned by the Western tradition, but that literally a lot of things in the Bible say bad things about the LGBT community, and so it seems that people who adhere to that ideology are more likely to not be accepting than people who don't adhere to that ideology.
Also, don't forget about the thought crimes.
Yes.
You do realize that particular group of people, they have been rejected and accepted throughout history. So I'm not sure what you guys are referring to.
Well, keep in mind, like Christ said, that what you do to the least of these, you've also done to me, right?
Nothing to do with Christ, bro. People have accepted the LGBT group in the past, time and time again. They've accepted them, they've rejected them, then they've accepted them, then they rejected them.
The first will be last, and the last shall be first. If you look through consistently, you're going to find all these.
Bro.
I'm brainwashed. You haven't quoted scripture. You just keep saying what you feel is true.
Why are you quoting scripture when literally God said, stop quoting the scripture?
It just sounds like you're saying, I feel this. I feel this is true.
He literally said, woe to the Pharisees.
The irony of God said stop quoting scripture, so stop quoting scripture. Like,
yeah, it's really ironic. But not only that, think about what he just said. Christ went to the Pharisees who were taking the law and heaping burdens on the average people. And
what are you doing to me right now?
And guess what he said? He said, "Woe to you who are heaping these burdens on these poor people, Pharisees." That's what you're quoting to prove your point.
Look what you're doing right now to me. Every single response you gave me, you ran away to the scripture for shelter.
Dude, we're debating the Bible, right?
That's not how God operates. God isn't the Bible, you idiot.
Okay, well, you never said whether you were a Christian or not. You just said that you accept the New Testament as being
God, these religious fanatics. The Bible is not God. You do realize that.
Okay, so you just don't accept the New Testament as your standard.
Are you okay, bro? Are you okay? God is not the Bible. He's not a book, bro.
Okay, did I say God was a book? That sounds like a straw man.
Keep running to it for shelter.
Because you said that you accepted it as a standard.
You keep running to it for shelter.
I think you should run to an article about projection for shelter.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. For shelter, what?
I mean, like every interaction I've had with Converse, Converse didn't quote biblical scripture to me. Right, Converse?
That wouldn't make sense. What I'm doing is an internal worldview critique. So if you say that the New Testament is your standard, I use it against you. If you say you don't accept it, then I just go, what about on your secular worldview, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, Axiom's exactly
why
right.
Why would you assume that I would have a secular worldview, or I would have this worldview, or I would have that worldview?
I just asked you, do you believe that you said
you
rejected
that God is a book? Do you believe that God is a book?
No, that's a straw man. You said you accept the New
Do you
Testament.
believe that God is a book?
Well, the Bible's not a book, first of all. It's a library.
The Bible's not a book. What?
No, it's a library.
It's a library. Okay. Let's say this.
It's a bunch of
collection of
books.
66 or
The
more
Bible,
books.
not a book.
It's a collection of literature. It's got poems.
Okay, let's say Jesus left no scripture at all. How would you conduct your life today?
Humanism.
What was the question?
How would you go about living your life if the scriptures never existed?
Humanism. Just as our ancient ancestors did. They figured out how the family worked. They figured out how the tribe worked. And that ethos of reciprocity is so ingrained in us that we actually feel pain seeing other people in pain. We have circuitry in our brains that make us feel this. So how is it possible that you don't know where morals come from? They've been around a lot longer than your God.
Owned. I don't agree with him entirely, but you have to understand.
Wait, he was talking to you, I thought. You're the one that asked the question.
God is not a scripture.
I was talking
God is not a scripture,
He was
bro.
talking to you, Abe.
Were you talking to me?
It's way to self-own.
Aren't you the one who asked the question that he answered?
No, that was the other guy, the Christian guy.
What? I'm the one who asked. Do you believe? I'm the one who asked, where do you get your morals from if the Bible didn't exist?
Oh, okay. So where do I get my morals from?
I didn't ask you that. You asked that out of the room, and the guy answered you, and you said I got owned.
No, I didn't say that. I said,
You're not tracking.
No, I am tracking. I'm listening attentively.
I don't know why you. I was being calm and like relaxed with it. I don't know why you had to turn it into this type of debate.
What was that? Sorry.
I said I was being relaxed and like just asking you general questions. I don't know why you had to turn it into some type of adversarial thing.
Yeah. So basically, you keep referencing to the New Testament.
So just say you don't accept it as a standard, and I won't.
I don't accept it as a standard. What? What does that mean?
Well, like, do you think that you just intuit all your morals, or do you think that there might be some of your morals that you
How are you
look
saying
toward
that I
Scripture
don't
for?
accept it as a standard? What do you mean? Do you think that I don't accept it as the norm or as a model in comparative evaluations?
Do you look at Christ as the standard for human morality?
Fine standard, first of all. Are you referring to the principles of conduct?
I'm referring to when you say you should have done something, you're pointing toward a standard by which you should have done. You're saying, you can improve, you doing this action is an improvement, is saying an improvement toward some standard. So I'm asking you, what is that standard if not Christ for you?
You first must define what standard is. Are you referring to standard
If
as...
I ask TJump, what's your
principles
standard?
of
He's gonna
conduct?
say the best possible world is my standard. And then I say, well, in this world, what blah blah blah. He's gonna say, well, in this world's not the best possible world, so I'm gonna choose option B or whatever. See, he can answer like straight off. My standard is the best possible world. Since we don't have that, it's just like limit imposition on will as much as possible, or something like.
Okay.
The humanist is gonna say human, reciprocity or whatever. Like
well-being.
Yeah, like it doesn't. I'm not sure why it's a big question.
Do you not intuitively agree that when a text or a scripture imposes your will, does that not have a negative effect on your experience?
What?
Why don't you answer questions?
I think because he's in a position where he thinks that God exists, and he also thinks that morality is an obscure concept, and he can't square those two things.
Well, I mean, he
now
also
in a corner where
thinks
No.
that
He mentioned that he lives by the scripture, right? And so my question to him is,
actually,
why
I didn't mention that.
Well, okay. Well, do you live by the scripture?
How come you don't answer questions?
Because it'll answer my questions.
Well, no, I started by asking you a question. Are you a Christian? And you said,
I mean, sorry, it'll
I
answer your
that.
questions.
I think that's a fair question, Mango. Are you a Christian?
I don't feel comfortable answering that.
Christ said, Christ said, if you won't proclaim me before man, I won't proclaim you before my Father.
Like, because he
But
believes
I just
in
said that I don't accept any scripture as standard.
Like,
give him 2 more chances.
He believes in the New Testament, but he thinks the Old Testament is written by the devil. I don't know if
it's
that...
like Beetlejuice TJump. You have to do it 3 times in order for it to happen.
Yeah, so I don't know if he
it's hey
technically...
Siri, and then you respond, mate.
Yeah, I don't know if he would technically be counted as a Christian, because if he doesn't believe in the Old Testament, he doesn't believe in Yahweh, but he does believe in Jesus. So
Well, no, he rejects the New Testament verses as well that I brought up.
Well, he rejects them as like literal.
They're not in alignment. They're man-made.
So like, what do you accept, Mango? What is in alignment?
Simplicity.
The Quran.
Simplicity.
Of what?
That's what I accept. And God wants us to live a simple life. He doesn't want us to be, think about things like morality and all this nonsense, because it interferes with your experience.
No, thinking about morality keeps us out of trouble. keeps us behaving.
No, it doesn't. It interferes with our experience of it. If you live a simple life, you won't have such troubles.
Wait,
Didn't you just finish saying that people needed to suffer?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he counteracts himself again.
What I said is, the suffering will come, but because you're living a simple life, you're able to overcome them.
Wait, what is the claim about morality that you don't need it because it interrupts your daily existence or something?
No, I didn't say that. I said for us to ponder and to carefully consider morality the way in which we are currently doing is not only time consuming and a waste of time, but it's also something that, interferes with the experiences that we could otherwise be having at the moment.
Okay, what about just somebody saying, like, forget the Bible and stuff. My simple experience is like I should just, when I'm in the store and I want something, just take it. I don't see why I should sit here and contemplate about why stealing is wrong or something.
I mean, that is more simple.
That's not simple at all. You're overthinking it. So you haven't given me anything there. All you've
Just
done
give
is...
me the defeater.
No, you haven't given me the defeater. What you've done is...
I said give me a defeater for the position I just laid out.
The thing is, you said, I'm going into a store and I'm going to steal.
Well, no, there's just something
That's
in
not
there that I
living a
want.
simple life. That's
I'll
not
just take
simple
it
life.
with me.
That's not simple living.
It's
Simple
very
living.
simple.
Simple
is
living.
it?
Let me define what simple living is to you. For you. Simple living is taking responsibility for yourself. That's simple living.
Yeah, taking responsibility when I'm hungry is taking something and eating it. I don't want to have to bear all these, complex questions about morality to just take a candy bar from a store.
Oh God, are we going to get into to Mango saying
You know
that?
exactly what I'm referring to.
Wait.
This is not what I'm referring to at all. This is not what I'm referring to at all. You're misinterpreting everything I've said.
I'm asking for clarification because I don't think this view actually works.
Yeah, I'm not sure you thought it through.
Oh, his view definitely doesn't work. Like his view is ridiculous.
If you live a simple life, you're not going to be going into a store and stealing. That's not living a simple life.
I don't know what you mean by simple then.
It's just a declarative statement with like...
It means taking responsibility for your own life.
Yeah, if I'm hungry, it'd be
if there
taking responsibility to grab a candy bar or something.
No, that's a contradictory statement. Because you're not taking responsibility for yourself. You're going out and committing crime.
Yeah, but what is crime? Like that sounds like a moral type thing, and I don't need to.
It's not moral. It's just the laws on which people governed by.
Well, what if I live in, under Sharia law or something? Should I just follow those laws without questioning because it's more simple?
Well, I mean, because humans aren't living a simple life today, it's kind of impossible to really live a simple life because there are so many complications in life now. So yes, you would have to. You would have to if you wanted to continue to live. You would have to under the circumstances because we know how those types of people react. If you don't,
are you talking about like full on primitivism, like people just
No. I'm not talking about primitivism at all. All I'm saying is living a simple life, and there are certain trends in modern society that we see today. Things like living, eating a healthier diet. Things like not having so many furniture, not having so many possessions and so many belongings, and living a simple existence. Minimalism and all of those things. Those trends exist because people are finally starting to realize that living a simpler life is more fulfilling than having all these possessions and sitting on a big couch like TJump. So
but being alive in the first place is also good, and technology makes that happen for a lot of people.
Technology sucks the soul out of you, man. That's what it does. It takes the life out of you.
So just realize that I believe it was TJump that was debating Hake or somebody, or it might have been the other guy that was debating Hake. I think it was TJump that actually asked him mid-debate.
Get to your point.
He's like, he actually asked him mid-debate, if Jesus told you this was wrong, would you accept it or no? Yep. And he said, it wouldn't matter. Why? Because he is stuck on his Western tradition. That's why. It's not about a standard outside of his own wants and views. He wants to stick to what he feels comfortable with, which has always been traditional, what he was raised with kind of thing, even at the point of getting rid of his religion.
What does that have to do with our conversation? The example that you gave, the so-called defeater of stealing something, the reason why you're doing that is because you're listening to your thoughts, and we know what happens when you do that. You're listening to Satan. So there you go.
Well, actually, no, because it's like you're saying simple, right? And so I'm just saying it sounds like a simple thing, rather than have to work and pay for all this
Does anybody
stuff.
here agree that sounds simple? Does anybody here agree that sounds simple? Because it's not. You have to come up with a plan. You have to,
Junior, it is quite simple, actually.
It's not simple. It's not simple if you have to be prepared and you have to make sure that you have the bags to put the food in there and make sure that nobody catches you, and make sure that you can go out and not get arrested.
It's more simple
Complicated.
than going to work a job and having to count money and put it in my bank account, carry around a debit card, get it, put it in a bag, take it to the cash register, do all that stuff, get emailed receipts and keep up with it, whatever.
Being honest is more complicated.
No, that's not what I'm. That's not what I'm saying at all.
If you're being dishonest, it's simple.
What I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying at all.
It's always a simple route. That's why good people are always the honest ones, the ones that will pay for their products.
I'm not talking about honesty here. I'm talking about living a simple life.
Yeah, I just don't think that. I don't think the simplicity is, something that I should look toward.
I also think that's so vague that it's essentially meaningless. Like, to say a simple life, like if you asked 1,000 people to say what a simple life is, you're probably going to get 1,000 different answers.
Well, before Abe had said,
the thing is, you coming up with all these different answers, and these people coming up with all these different answers.
Hold up. So Abe said before that his view is that society should be like it was 200 years ago or before, or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's an example of a simpler time.
That's at least a clear description.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, it seems like the definition of traditionalist. Yeah, so
traditionalist. Stop trying to label everything, bro.
You're not
a traditionalist. Stop trying to label everything.
Well, I mean, it's just a one-word description.
Wait, are you not trying to label things yourself?
No, because this entire debate
were you not using the word the devil wrote the Old Testament? That sounds like a label to me.
No, he's trying to paint a picture of who I am, and I don't appreciate that.
But aren't you doing the same thing by using the same labels?
Well, then you should speak up then, mate, because I didn't hear you. You should speak up and say that you don't appreciate that, so I can stop.
Well,
I'm just saying you're also using labels. So I'm pointing out.
If you're not comfortable with me using labels, then you should speak up and say, look, I don't appreciate that you're using labels.
Listen, you might be right. The only thing is that I'm trying to find out, is it consistent?
There's nothing to find out. It's already here.
What is so great about 200 years?
Imagine an atheist saying to you going, there's no God. See, it's already here. You see, that's just a claim, right?
No, when I say that, what does that do? It means to stop overthinking this. Oh my God.
Oh, you didn't like that, did you?
This is what happens when you overcomplicate life, is everybody begins to overthink. Stop overthinking it.
Yeah, but imagine
this
an atheist
would say
telling
that, excuse me, this atheist says the phrase, there's no evidence of a God. I'll never say there is no God. I say there is no evidence of a God.
Yeah, so I'm just using his logic against him. So just imagine an atheist saying, look, dude, you keep doing all this thing about where I need to find God and do all this stuff. It's just live a simple life. I don't need to worry about God.
Wait, what? Live a simple life. That's good. That's what God wants us to do. He doesn't want us to be worrying about him. Why do we worry about an almighty thing? That's weird.
Oh, so I mean, so you're not against Satan?
No, stop. You want us to worry about an almighty, omniscient being? Does that not sound retarded to you? What the fuck?
I feel like you're just kind of wandering in the dark, making vague jabs at a
Oh,
No,
you guys have no idea.
He just said to
Like
worry
you need
about.
to hear
He
Abe
literally
talk
just
about.
said
Wait,
worry
Abe,
about
Abe,
an ominous being.
Mango. So you guys haven't heard Mango talk about how it's all technology is bad and creates more problems than it solves. And
No, sorry, TJump, please stop. I wanna like ask him this question. You said that you need to worry about an all-powerful being. Are you okay, bro?
No, I didn't. I specifically said, imagine an atheist using your same argument against you. Why would we need to worry about whether a God exists or not? Why don't we just live our lives without the God?
Bro, this guy literally said, worry about God.
Why is that funny? You just said
How
I
are you
shouldn't have
gonna
to
worry
worry about morality and stuff. Just live my life simply.
I like the vast majority
You
of the planet
believe
thinks that way. How can you
that
pretend
morality
you're
comes from
surprised
God,
when you
right?
hear it?
Bro, I'm
You
just
believe in
taking what you say and using it against you, basically.
No, you haven't used nothing against me. You said morality comes from God, and therefore you need to worry about morality, which in that case you would be worrying about God. That's nonsense, bro. Why would you worry about something that's omnipresent? That's so dumb.
I didn't say that. I said you can
literally
imagine
said
an
that.
atheist using your same logic against you.
Do you even know what logic is? Logic is the reasoning conducted or assessed according to the strict principles of validity. So nothing you said.
Why should that doesn't
in
sound
accordance.
simple? Why should I care about logic? That doesn't sound simple.
Yeah, what's more simple?
Just want to live
Abe,
a simple, traditional life.
You know all of the things, and we all must listen to your definitions. Is that the simple path? Abe knows everything, and we don't know shit.
No, I never said that. We all know it. It's just that certain groups of people are just, they're in their thoughts all day, like TJump, and they aren't able to really be present and experience life.
Are you sure about
that? Hey, TJump, quick question.
Sure, go for it.
Do you enjoy life?
Over the past 6 months, I'd say yes. Before that, I'd say no.
So every now and again, you have your downs, but I get.
Well,
I get what
for
you're
the
saying.
first 30 years or so was like a down, but yeah.
I can get that. So Abe, you just got Black Swan. How do you feel?
You know what? I'm not going to answer your question, but I will ask a question to TJump. Hey, TJump. How is your relationship with your father?
Wait, are you Jesse Lee Peterson?
We don't talk much.
I just realized
What about your mother? What about your mother?
We don't talk much.
Do you ever visit them at all?
Nope.
Is there any sort of particular reason, if you're comfortable to share?
Because I never enjoyed speaking to human beings in my life. So for the first 30 years, I never spoke to anyone.
Is there a reason why you didn't speak to anyone?
Major depression, social anxiety, high function autism.
And so are you blaming it on your autism, or are you blaming it on the sort of your upbringing?
The autism.
I think that's completely redundant, Abe.
The chemicals.
I'm getting somewhere. Just please calm yourself. I'm getting somewhere.
The chemicals in my brain.
Or biological mechanisms?
So the chemicals.
Wait. Question. Very important question that you should address.
Dude, stop it.
Why do you have to insult somebody to make a point?
Dude, you're cutting the interview, man. I'm trying to interview TJump here. Please.
Why do you have to insult somebody to make a
don't
point?
interrupt. I'm trying to interview TJump here. Don't interrupt.
I'm trying to ask a very important question. Why are
Wait,
you talking?
Axiom, hang on one second. I think it's almost clear to me now that he's doing the Jesse Lee Peterson thing where it's like, well, you closer to your mother because mother ruined a young man's life. And how are you with your father? If you were with your father, you'd be more of a man. You'd be more right. You'd be better.
That's not what I'm doing at all. What the hell? Who is this guy? What are you
Then
talking
why
about,
did you ask about his relationship with his mother and father?
Because I'm a psychologist. And
That's funny.
Now he's a psychologist.
And we know
maybe
what school did you go to?
Wait. Where did you go to school? Where did you go to school?
I was fortunate enough to attend Harvard.
Harvard.
You gotta get some humor.
Who was your
psychologist from Harvard?
Who was your professor?
I had multiple professors during my time at Harvard.
You can name any of them. What's their names? Just give me a name of one.
Professors.
Give me 3 names. That's all I ask.
His answer. You remember Ron Burgundy, where he was like Richards, or Richards?
Actually, he would be proudly in possession of papers he'd be able
Guys,
to
we're giving
show.
him time to Google. We can't give him time to Google. Give me 3 names of your professors that you went to.
Come on,
I would be happy to. The issue is I suffer from short-term memory.
Google foo. Come on, you can do it.
If you suffer from short-term memory, how are you suffering?
He would never
I'll
pass those
compromise.
courses with that.
I'll compromise. Give me 1.
I'm almost 50, and I can tell you that.
There was one person, their name was Shri.
Who?
Shri Nagathar.
Shri?
Yeah, he's Googling. He's
Yeah,
Googling.
let's
Let's see what he's done.
Shri Nagathar.
Okay.
Sri
I'm looking
Nagathar?
through all of the professors of psychology at Harvard.
What the hell are you guys doing?
Wait. What year did you graduate?
Graduate. He didn't say graduate.
2019.
Okay, there we go,
2019? How old are you?
20.
Oh, Jesus.
Graduated Harvard
So did you study?
at 20 years old, or in 2019. That means he would have graduated when he was 17. Yeah, right.
My favorite thing is when you ask somebody what their name is or how old they are, they go,
I have a 200 IQ, so I'm not too sure what you're talking about.
200 IQ.
Closer to 12.
Wow.
My professors are average. You guys aren't going to know
Look,
Sean
you guys are
Carroll.
interrupting this interview that I'm having with TJump. Please stop interrupting this interview that I'm having with TJump. So,
My
TJump,
professor was
you mentioned-
Einstein. I graduated in
TJump, you
1900.
mentioned that you're not in a close relationship with your parents. Is that correct?
What?
Abe.
You still dodged my question.
So,
as to why you
so
have to
because of
report
that,
hidden souls.
because of the fact that you aren't doing that, and you're not, you're not taking proactive steps to reinvigorate those types of relationships, to me shows that you have this sort of inner conflict.
Okay.
That I don't like social relationships. Sure, I don't like social
Yeah, but
relationships.
you said that now you have overcome those
Yes.
biological mechanisms that were holding you back.
Yes.
Why haven't you reinvigorated those relationships?
Because I still
in
don't
your
like
life
social relationships.
that society deems important.
Because I don't like social relationships.
Wait,
You don't
Abe,
like
I can
social
Maybe
partially.
TJump just doesn't want
Yeah.
to talk to his parents.
I mean,
Can he
Abe,
just wait? Can he just get to the point? I mean, what's your point, bro?
I already did. I said that because of the fact that he's according to TJumps, he has overcome these biological mechanisms that were originally holding him back from having social relationships. He's proclaimed, he's mentioned that he's been able to overcome those. So I'm asking him, why hasn't he reinvigorated those relationships that society deems important? And he says he doesn't
Maybe
like
because he
social
doesn't want to,
relationships.
and
So you
is
haven't
this
really
something-
overcome
You're the
any of those.
psychologist.
So you haven't overcome any of those biological obstacles, then, have you?
Oh, that's his point.
Those aren't the same thing.
TJump, don't answer that. I got this real quick. Hey,
You've
Abe.
contradicted yourself. You said
Hey,
that you've
Abe.
overcome them, but you haven't really.
Hey, Abe.
Oh.
Maybe TJump is his own individual and can make cognitive decisions for himself. Whether he's a determinist or not, it doesn't matter. Maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he's perfectly happy just how he is right this second. Why does
Would
it
be
matter?
even happier if he was able to reinvigorate parental relationships.
Yeah, Abe, I don't
Again,
know.
No.
Yeah.
determining what will make him happy.
Wait,
Who
wait
is-
1 second.
Who,
Abe,
who would be better to diagnose?
According to
TJump
psychology,
happiness
according to a
other than-
psychology study, the people that have a closer relationship with their parents or guardians
Abe,
live
can I
a
tell you
more
something
successful
secret?
life.
Can I tell you something secret? A pretend psychologist wannabe kid that's 20 years old says he graduated Harvard at 17 with no papers to prove it. That would be all over the news.
I said at 20 in 2019 at 20 I graduated.
Either way, that would make papers.
Hey, God
He's
for 20.
also
Let
an AI scientist. Don't forget.
Give it let Converse Contender go because I think you want to ask a question.
Well, yeah, I mean, Abe's. Yeah, I mean, we all know Abe's professor, Isaac Newton. But so, Abe, I actually don't. Oh, Shreed. I thought you said. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't necessarily disagree
really,
with you that it is
someone's name. You know, that's really inappropriate.
I don't necessarily disagree with you that it's probably good to work on your social relationships. I'm wondering why you haven't.
Studies been conducted that if you have a closer relationship with your parental guardians, you will live a more successful life. So I'm asking TJump, why hasn't he done that? Because honestly, if he did do that, he wouldn't even be on Discord. He would be a multimillionaire.
I'm wondering why you haven't. Why haven't you reinvigorated your relationship with Jesus?
Yeah, like if you had a relationship with Jesus, you'd be more happy.
Character, and he doesn't exist in reality.
What do you mean? Do you think you've overcome? Do you think you've overcome the spiritual gifts of Christ?
Also, you have to remember we're all children of God, correct?
Yes. So when you overcome your, when you. Oh, look at the time.
That's at least funny. But I do.
So what? Even
Hey, do you live in Minnesota, by chance?
Yeah, I do live in Minnesota. I live right beside
you and TJump should. Yeah, I'm saying you should go up to the bar or something, or like go, grab some food or something, and just, hang out.
I feel like the best.
I
use
think
Why?
TJump has better things to do with his time.
I don't know. I feel like the
Why
best.
would you put TJump through that torture?
Why would you say that? What sort of persuaded you to do that?
Well, I don't know. I was thinking maybe TJump and him could get into like a debate at a bar, and then like people who are standing around would be like, "Yo, TJump, that's I see what you're saying there. That makes sense." And then what do you know? We're having this big social interaction and we're helping each other. You're
Research
logic and TJump.
Research Purpose mostly asked, what do I think about Ukraine? Can Russia be justified in invading? Probably not. Would the U.S. be justified in invading ethically? Yes, I think so. I don't think there's a justification for Russia invading Ukraine other than for political safety reasons in order to try and secure like more military security. But no, I don't think it's justified that
there is a justification. If you look at the way the NATO has expanded over the decades, Russia is shitting their pants and they want to make sure that their borders are protected.
Thank you to whoever sent that super chat. Now we have something new to talk about.
Wait, I got a super chat?
Fuck if I know. You said
Ukraine is part of Russia.
Oh, I'm assuming you had a super chat.
No, it was just a random question. It wasn't a super chat. I wish it was a super chat.
If Texas decided that they wanted to become a sovereign state, how would the rest of the United States
any other chat? But it'll just say super.
It's a super chat because it changed the conversation topic. Therefore, it's super.
Hey, TJump. If
Can I ask a follow-up?
If Texas decided to become a sovereign state today, would it be justified
if
the United States to bring it back to its?
There's a super chat, TJump.
Is the Earth round, Abe?
Abe, that's the false equivalence.
The Earth, well, I haven't really observed the shape of the Earth. I've only been given pictures and videos of scientists proclaiming the shape of the Earth.
Can you please steel man the scientific perspective as best you can?
Go for it. Flat Earth versus round Earth.
I don't agree with either viewpoints because none of them.
I just want to know that you understand it. That's the thing. I want to know that you understand the thing that you don't agree with.
What do I not agree with? That the Earth is round.
Scientific perspective of the world.
Like, do you know what steel manning is? Do you know what steel manning means, Abe?
I don't. Can you explain what it means?
So steel manning means you
like
represent.
A psychology major would definitely know what a steel man is.
especially one who graduated at 20 at Harvard. But steel manning is when you represent your opposing views in the strongest, most logical way possible. So, like, if he's telling you to steelman science, he wants you to tell us what the scientific view is.
And again, you have to define what science is, and as I previously defined it, it being this the investing.
Snap.
Can someone find the dial-up sound?
So if you define science, it's the.
Hey, quick question. I think I'm remembering you maybe. Well, maybe not. But are you familiar with Craig Reed?
No, who's that?
Never mind. There was an Abe that used to come on his channel. I was wondering if it was
Oh,
you. But...
Abe is a name he used because his account got banned. So he's Mango.
Gotcha. I might know. Oh, okay. I think I remember you from the politics.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. Please shut up.
His name is Eyebrow Mango. So, yeah.
Hey, Abe. As a psychologist, could you just tell us what Dunning-Kruger means? Dunning-Kruger.
Fucking great.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
What is the Dunning-Kruger effect?
Well, it's simply the bias where it's one of the biases that we have, whereby people with low capabilities
don't help them
overestimate their abilities.
No, I was saying he's looking.
So what you're trying to say is you're trying to sort of
Well, it's part of it.
define
That's half.
me as being someone who is sort of displaying the Dunning-Kruger effect.
No, they did not claim that. They asked you what they asked if you knew what the Dunning-Kruger effect was and if you could explain.
I just did. It's a cognitive bias.
You're right.
It's a cognitive bias. It's a cognitive bias. It's a cognitive bias.
He also phrased it the same exact way as the Wikipedia articles.
Research purpose mostly, since a super chat. Thanks. Give that guy a follow-up for the Ukraine one. Like
it's basically like, if you think about it, if you're somebody who has a high IQ level,
the authority of the super chat friend.
Super chat's really saving this voice conversation. Really putting in that work, guys.
Yeah, I don't think Russia would be justified in invading Ukraine just because NATO is expanding. NATO's expansion doesn't affect anything in Ukraine.
It does affect it because you haven't studied history, and so you don't have the historical context.
What does the historical context have to do with NATO?
I guess. Well, the follow-up I have, I guess, is what do you take about the ethical argument that Putin tries to put forward about we're bringing back the ethnic homeland of these people that's been stolen. Yeah, all right, fair enough. All right, you don't take it seriously, yeah.
Yes, we're going to take back the land that nobody really wants because clearly we're going to move people there, right? No. Are you going to move people there? No. So what are you taking it back for?
An overwhelming majority of Ukrainians want to be a part of the EU. They don't want to be a part of Russia.
Hey, TJump, according to your objective morality.
Dude. Considering in the 1930s, Russia killed like a third of the population of Ukraine. It's Holodomor. They don't want to be. They prefer to not have any more starvations. So yeah.
So what? Maybe those killings were justified.
Cute.
Maybe those killings were justified.
Maybe those killings were justified. That's genius.
Isn't that adorable?
Famine. They died of hunger. Ridiculous.
Abe, you're arguing that
Russia. What did they die of? What did they die of? Sorry.
They died of hunger, starvation,
and who caused that? It was the people. It was the Ukrainian government who.
It was the Russians who were overseeing
the Russian came in and saved them.
My God. Wow. You are so silly. It is.
Yeah, Abe, you're arguing that Russia should be able to take back the land, right? Like, did you think it's taking it back, basically, right? By force.
Yes, they should, because it is a buffer to protect Moscow.
Okay, so
you guys got to remember, make Russia great again.
Make Russia great again.
So Abe,
Sorry, I had to.
It's because, well, do you think that
Russia
is
2024.
is it partially just because Russia it used to be part of Russia or something like that?
Well, no, he said that he needs to use it as a buffer.
Serves as a
like
buffer,
you need
so
to.
it reduces,
Right. So Abe, what you said is that it's geological. It's a geological advantage. They need the land in order to protect against mainland attack, kind of like what America does with.
It's a buffer, so it's basically reduces preemptive attacks from NATO.
Right, but presumably you don't think that some country, like let's say Africa should take, Israel or the Levantine area because it's strategic, do you?
I don't believe in Africa taking Israel. It's not a strategic move at all.
Really?
Because it's no, I don't, because Africa isn't as developed as the rest of the world, so I wouldn't see how it serves them in any way to take over a land that is well beyond their perimeters.
What?
Whereas if
Well
you look
beyond.
if you look at the two powerhouses of today, the United States and Russia, it's far more justified for them to take over areas of the world.
The Levant.
Wait, I got a question. I got a question. So, like, if it's justified for Russia to take Ukraine for strategic reasons, wouldn't it be justified for America to take Ukraine for strategic reasons?
Absolutely. But I'm on the Russian side, so.
Well, TJump, hang on, TJump.
Yeah, no, he doesn't believe this, right?
Yeah, but keep in mind,
I do. Listen,
TJump, I specifically.
No, surely you don't. Don't know. Come on.
Yes, because these two are superpowers. So therefore,
Converse, what did you want to say?
In order to maintain the power, they need to strategically
Hold up,
take
Abe.
over the
Hold
world.
up, Abe. Hold up, Abe. What do you want to say, Converse?
Yeah, you have to understand. You gave him a softball when you said the United States. I specifically asked him about an African country doing it.
Yeah.
And that was a
yeah, African no, because they just don't have the means, the technology. They're not considered to be superpowers like Russia and the United States.
They don't need them
to take over.
They need to be more simple. They don't need technology. They need to be simple.
What did you say? Sorry, simple what?
They're simple. Remember, simple's better.
Out of this invasion, not looking like the bad guy.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're talking about the current circumstances. We're not talking about how we should live our lives.
Oh, so you're appealing to like a best possible world and then the world we're in.
Yes, essentially.
Okay, so I don't see what your whole deal was with TJump earlier.
Yeah, it's
because you're just saying, well, the best possible world is they would have technology and be able to take it over. But since they don't, we have to deal with this world.
Yeah, in this world, if if you want to live a fulfilling life, then live a simple life. That's what I was advocating for.
Okay. So, I mean, I think the Native Americans should take back the United States because it's more strategic.
Yeah, actually, I've got a question with TJump. If you believe in objective morality and in your world, in your possible world, is it moral for the indigenous Americans to take back their land?
No, that would still be immoral.
That would be immoral for them to take back their land?
If they did it by force, yeah. Forcing anybody to do anything ever without their consent is immoral.
But did the Americans did not take the land from the Americans by force?
Yes, that's immoral too. So taking it is immoral, and taking it back by force is also immoral.
So do you not believe in the philosophical principles regarding inversion?
Abrosion? What?
So if someone were to do something immoral to you, it's justified for you to do something immoral to them in order to balance out the books.
Yeah, it's justified immoral action. So like if someone punches you and you punch them back, it's not moral, but it's a justified immoral action.
So therefore it's justified for them to go ahead and take back their land, yes?
Yeah, it'd be justified for American Indians to fight for their land. Sure, it'd be immoral, but it'd be justified.
No, not fight for the land. Take back.
By force, right? They'd have to take
back, just like how the people who've taken it from them.
That means fight. That's the same thing as fighting. That's fighting.
No, it isn't. It's taking back. It means you guys taking the boats and going back where you came from.
How did we take it in the first place? Did we fight them with guns and stuff?
Actually,
no,
yes.
Didn't. Only a small number of people did that. Actually, what happened was it was a peaceful takeover. And so now you're gonna have
peaceful takeover.
What? Is it possible that it could be a forceful takeover if there was no violence?
Trail of Tears was
I don't
peaceful.
think it's a forceful takeover because
Trail of Tears, totally peaceful event. Just a peaceful takeover of the Trail of Tears.
History sort of,
Wait, Abe, serious question. Did you also study history in Harvard?
I did actually. I did. I took a major in history. So.
Wait, you have a major in history and
He has a
what
PhD in history.
psychology?
I took two majors.
When he double majored. He double
So
majored.
history, what it tries to do, history tries to sort of theatricize the
Wait,
events
what was
of the
that word?
past. So
Theatricize? Was it theatricize? Is that
So it's
the word you
basically
said?
what it tries to do is it tries to make it it tries to, what's the word when you try to make something more than it really is?
Dramatize.
Dramatize, yeah. What's the other word?
Exacerbate?
Abe, you're using all this technical Harvard language.
So anyway, history, if you look at history, what they try to do is they try to dramatize the events of the past, when in reality it's not, how we imagine it, how it actually happened.
Yeah, do you guys?
How did
his
it?
history
How did it
professor
happen?
Was,
How did it
was
really
Nima
happen?
Arpani Mahad.
What was that, sorry?
Yeah. So how did it happen? Is what TJump said.
Just imagine yourself today, right? If you walked into America, if you were the early pioneers of America, and you walked in, how would you conduct yourself with the Americans?
You're saying like if I just walked into Africa today, how would I conduct myself?
Yeah, like let's say you wanted to set up a settlement in America today, how would you react to the native peoples?
How does this tell us what happened?
Just can you answer the question? Stop thinking about the past. Just think of the current scenario. How would you react to the native people if you went to America today and you wanted to settle there?
Well, if I built a
So
house and we were
morally
attacking it.
You saying we're morally equivalent to how they were?
Stop. No, that's not what I'm saying. Just answer the question. How would you react to the natives people if you went to America today and you settled there? How would you react?
Normally, I guess.
Put a modern person's moralities on something from.
Stop assuming and just answer the question.
Did we get any more super chats?
No, not yet. No, unfortunately.
Why don't you just answer the question? Why are you assuming things? Oh my God.
I would treat them like people. Yes.
Okay. All right. So you would treat them with people. Okay. You set up your settlements, right?
Sure.
Why would you think otherwise? That in the past, that do you not really think that only a couple hundred years ago that people didn't act normally around others?
Yes, because they like to conquer and shoot stuff and take stuff by force.
No, they didn't. That's a lie. It's literally just a few hundred years ago, bro.
They do that today. Like that's what Russia's trying to do in Ukraine. This is the same as today.
Dude, they did it
all around the world, bro.
I'm in full circle, aren't we, TJump?
The Russian prime minister is the most
myself.
kindest person on earth.
Hey, they used to hang people in the streets for dissent.
And
That's
for being
good.
witches.
I was reading about today. Actually, I was reading on about the black stock market. The black
Wall
race
Street
massacre, the black stock market massacre.
Black Wall Street.
Abe, I was gonna ask you about slavery, so I guess.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
Wait, I wanted to see, was he going to say Tulsa was...
Before
was
you
wrong?
ask, Abe would be the best person to ask about slavery since, he majored in Harvard about history.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
But before you go on that, Abe, I was wanting to hear what you were going to say about Black Wall Street.
So the Black Wall Street, there was a massacre that occurred because of a black man who sort of done some atrocities to a white girl, right? And the white people were going to go to that black community and find the guy and lynch him. That is not bad. That is just how they sort of conducted their.
Abe, you believe that?
Massacre isn't bad. Massacre is totally normal.
So that's because they didn't have a police state. Because they didn't have a police state.
Oh my god, this is just getting
this
even
is
better
how.
by the
Is this what
second.
they teach at Harvard?
That's what they teach at Harvard.
Can I finish, please? Can I
You
finish?
guys gotta remember, this is what they teach at Harvard.
You should have went to a more simple university.
Can I finish, please? Can I
flat. You
Can I
know
finish?
that?
Can I finish? You fucking can't finish. Can I finish, please?
No.
Can
Abe,
I
I
finish?
think you should.
So-
I think you should go back to trying to steel man the scientific perspective. So
No,
that we can
please,
fill in
just
the
can I
gaps in your
finish?
understanding
No,
of
I
how
didn't mean to
holy
distract.
back
Frank,
planet Earth
Frank asked a
because
question.
holy
Yeah, no,
Please,
I
don't answer my
was also
question.
gonna ask, do you know who Eric Erickson is? So
Can I
do you
finish,
know who that
please?
is?
Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish?
Okay, that's fine. If you don't know who that
So-
is, that's
So the lynching that occurred for that black man, that's justified because that's how they carried out their sort of policing, if you will. If somebody committed a crime, they would get lynched. So irrespective of their race, there was a case where a white person did some harm to a white lady. He got lynched as well, even though he's white. So irrespective of race, you get lynched. So that's just how the community ran back then. And if lynching was something, if we didn't have a police state today, then lynching would still be done in America, basically.
Wait,
Because
that's not. Yeah, but you realize that's a straw man. Like the reason why it started was because there were laws that segregated black people from shopping.
Well, there was
in
also
white
several
neighborhoods.
other 100 people who died. It wasn't
Did you
just the
not
black
hear?
man.
Did you not hear what I just said? I said white people also got lynched for committing
Wait. So
That doesn't explain it.
punishing people from crimes is different from lynching hundreds of people. Like they didn't just lynch one guy; they killed hundreds of people. It was a massacre, not a single death.
It was a massacre, and if you look at the numbers, it was even. The people who got injured was also the white people as well. You did realize that.
That doesn't make it moral. So killing hundreds of people
TJump.
to lynch
TJump,
one
you gotta
guy.
remember, they
not
were
moral.
amazing people on both sides.
You have to understand that if a black woman or a black man,
I'm sorry.
oh my god, these people just keep interrupting me. If something happened to another person, like a black person, right? The black people would also come to the white community and destroy their own community as well. There's evidence of that.
So Abe, you think that because of a couple of lynchings, they created Black Wall Street instead of it being about financial issues, like also about like how they were prevented from shopping in white neighborhoods and money circulation things?
You have it all twisted, bro. You have it all twisted. So the reason why the reason why segregation existed is because the people in that time knew that in the entire world there never existed a group of people where they had a society where there was a mixture of race. Never occurred in the world that you had a white and a black in the same city. Never. It was only recent times that we started to sort of have mixed race cities. That never occurred in history ever.
Not true.
And so the concept to
Should
them.
we show you a few places that are like 3,000-4,000 years old that are mixed races? Maybe even 5
Never,
years.
it never occurred ever.
We
It never
have
occurred ever.
Never occurred like in Islam, where the nation was a hub for trade and had different nations and different cultures from all over the world.
Yeah,
come.
everybody had their own nation. Everybody had their own group. Everybody sticked with their own group. They didn't mix with
That's not
others.
true. No, that's not true. Look at, for example, the Egyptians. I look at their iconography, and you see there's like even the rulers are sitting in a row, right? And it's obviously different colors. You have what looks like.
But see, the thing is,
Egypt
Egypt is an an instance of America. America is an instance of Egypt.
What about
right? Egypt is an example of America, basically.
How about the Incan Empire?
Wait, Abe, did you take a class in Egyptology also?
Yeah.
So Egypt is an example. It's an example of America, right? It's a society of mixed people. That's why it failed, because they mixed. That's why it failed.
Well, Abe, you can't say that something
Egyptian history.
Yeah, you can't say that something that existed before the other thing is an example of that thing. America's an example of Egypt, maybe, but either way, it didn't matter because mixture was happening.
It doesn't matter because
throughout the
America is
history.
heading to failure because they allow mixing. Mixture of races is not good.
It's nothing like Egypt.
Why is it not good? That sounds like a moral claim.
Wait, so you're a white nationalist now?
Yeah, he is acting.
Oh my god.
Where did that come from? What the fuck?
I think he's a
Well,
Native
he's a
American
segregationist.
nationalist. He just wants Native Americans
You just
to
said
just.
mixing the races isn't moral. That's practically saying you're a white nationalist.
Well, he didn't say he was
isn't
white.
racist. Segregation isn't racist. Segregation is not racist. Segregation is merely the preservation. Can I finish? Segregation is the preservation of your identity. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's not racist.
Segregation's
Do
worse.
you know what words mean?
Segregation.
Well, of course
Segregation
he
is
knows
the
what words mean.
preservation of your
You guys gotta
segregation is the
remember,
preservation of your identity.
he's a double major at Harvard.
Triple
Stop criticizing
major.
me and just listen to my arguments. Segregation is a preservation of identity. When you remove segregation and you allow mixture of races to mix, you'll find that people have identity crises now. They don't know who they are.
Now I see
Doesn't
why
the state regulate the segregation though?
Segregation is the preservation of your identity.
No. It's the state is the one that segregates. It's not
It
a group of
enforces the
people saying, "Hey,
segregation. It
we're
doesn't
just gonna be a
actually.
group
It's
of
not the
people."
one that actually says, "Hey guys,
Segregation is
this
the
is what's going on."
state that mandates who talks to whom and who touches what. That is, the segregation isn't a group of people saying, "Hey, we're going to all band over here, fuck these other guys." Segregation.
It is.
the state
Segregation
that
occurred.
mandates-
Segregation.
No.
Segregation existed.
There's a difference
Well,
what if they
between
was
people who
government
want to hang out
well
with each
before
other.
government interference, segregation existed.
No. What
Yes,
you're
look
talking
into
about is like
into the history. I've studied it. I have a
neighborhoods
major in history. You
and
don't.
groups of people that said, "Hey, we're these groups of people. These groups of people could go fuck themselves." Segregation
No, that's
is
not what
when a
happened at all.
state
You have a
mandates the
misinterpretation of
separation.
history. You've been
Chili, you
brainwashed.
gotta remember
You've been
this guy was a
brainwashed.
major at
Segregation has
Harvard.
always existed. Segregation has existed since the
Yes,
beginning of
that's
time.
right.
The beginning of fucking time, you idiot.
He is
So
the
Abe,
ultimate.
you are against
Abe,
freedom.
I got one question for you. One quick question. What's your favorite color?
Segregation is the preservation of identity.
No. Just one simple question. What's your favorite color?
Segregation is the preservation of identity.
Answer the
When you
question.
remove segregation, you have people, you have a population of people
Not about
suffering
race,
from
just generic color.
Just
What is your
just
favorite
generic.
color?
What's your
Everybody
favorite
fucks us,
color?
so we're all the same
identity
color. That's
crisis.
a lot
Identity
simpler.
crisis is a huge problem in our country today. Identity crisis. Identity crisis. Identity crisis.
Abe, so you're against freedom of association?
No, you can go ahead and talk to your white friend for business or
Well, wait.
association.
You are shockingly ignorant.
Can I finish? You can associate and have business with others,
No,
but you must
shut the fuck
understand
up.
and
Dare
preserve
you,
your
Pine?
identity.
You're speaking to a double major from Harvard.
All right, guys.
Stop
I'm
criticizing
falling
me.
asleep.
That's not conducive to this discussion at all.
All right, I'm falling asleep. I'm gonna go to bed. Hold up.
All right.
I'll see you guys
All right,
later.
TJump.
Peace out.
Later.
See ya.
Please server mute him before you go.
And boy got ideas. I server muted you because you have like a lot of background noise. Could you like fix your mic, and Frank or whoever's in? Could you like unmute him to see if he can fix his mic? I'll see you guys later.
Have a good night.